Hello, FPL managers. We are live. It is game week. Is it game week 21? I think it's game week 21. We're here for game week 21, and the big news is at Man City, Sheffield United. Stones is dropped, Cancelo is dropped, Sterling is dropped. I say dropped. They're all on the bench. Anyway, I am joined by two of my best mates. I have Luke Johnson in the house. Hello, Banger. How you doing?
Hello. Very well, thank you.
Good to see you. And Tobes as well. How are you, mate?
Yeah, well, I'm fine, but could be better. I'm one game into the game week already, and it already feels like a disaster. Captain blank, all my Man City players are out. It's just, it's FPL, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it's kind of that curse, isn't it, of captaining someone in the first game of the game week. Do you ever look at that? Because I know so many managers do, and always swerve it. But
I mean, I get it. It's like, I mean, it's got to be a myth, isn't it? There's absolutely no evidence, I'm sure, that suggests that early kickoffs are less likely to reward you. You just feel it more heavily when it happens, because it seems to kind of kick your week off badly and ruin your game week a little bit. But yeah, I suspect there's no evidence whatsoever to suggest that it's a bad idea back in the early kickoff.
It's like when you have a lunchtime kickoff in your accumulator and it ruins your day.
Yeah, totally.
We used to do, when we were at uni and we used to nip down to Betfred early doors on like a Saturday morning, we used to always avoid the lunchtime kickoff with our accumulators, didn't we? I do remember that well.
Too.
Yeah.
I think it's because if you're doing it as a group as well, you can't be the one who ruins it for everybody else, because then like everyone else's bet, it doesn't even get a chance if it's been ruined by someone else's. But yeah, there we go.
Let us know in the chat who you've captained. I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of Salah and Son, but there's also going to be loads that went DCL. There's going to be loads that are on Gundogan. There's going to be loads that are on Cancelo. Matt Henley wants a refund for the DCL bandwagon ticket. Love that. Daniel took out Wilson for DCL and captain Cancelo. I feel your pain. Look, Daniel, Cancelo might come on and score. Who knows? I think he'll come on today. Tobes, you're doing the City Sheffield United game. Stones, yeah. Cancelo, Sterling. Can we expect any of them, or all of them, or two of them to come on?
My gut instinct would be that Stones is likely to stay on the bench, and Cancelo and Sterling have got a pretty good chance of seeing some minutes. Of course, it's Pep. Like who knows? But the very fact that he's put this team out has blown everybody's mind and probably blown a lot of people's FPL plans for the week. But yeah, you can just never be too surprised with Pep, can you? But yeah, I can't really see any reason unless there's an injury why Stones would get on the pitch. But I think Cancelo and Sterling far more likely.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Laporte probably needs a 90 minutes under his belt. I can't remember him having one. Banger, should we be worried, John Stones owners, because I know you're one of them, Laporte coming back into the team, there's many people saying, oh, Laporte's now back fit, but people forget he was originally dropped, then injured. Should we be worried as John Stones owners? What's your take?
Yeah, I am personally. I think obviously he suffered a crucial injury last September, was it? He was out for a lot of the season, came back, I think, January time. Then we went into lockdown in March. So he came back after lockdown. He didn't look how his previous form from last season. So no, I think he's a top class defender, and I think I'm worried.
Do we think like Pep here? I mean, it might be an oversimplification, but it kind of feels to me that he's maybe approaching this game a little bit like Solskjaer did, where he played a team that he kind of thought, I can rest players like Gianni, knowing that it's Sheffield United, it's 3 points, we're good enough to win the game. Chance to rest a few players. Obviously, massively backfired for Ollie. You would still hugely favour City in this game, obviously, but it kind of feels like Pep's looked at it and gone, it's a chance to get 3 points, win the game, and give my key players a rest, which is kind of how I'm hoping he's looking at it, so that, next week he's back to Stones and Cancelo and Diaz as that partnership as his kind of main two.
It's a weird one because they've got obviously Sheffield United today, and on Wednesday they go to Burnley. That's not an easy game going to Turf Moor. Then on Sunday it's Liverpool Man City, but the game after that is the FA Cup 5th round, Swansea versus Man City. So I went on the FPL show and said, look, Cancelo is probably the hottest property in the game right now. If you don't own him, you have to buy him. Forget rotation risk. He'll get benched against Swansea in the Cup, which is only in 10 days' time, and he's just had a rest at Cheltenham last week. But Pep being Pep, you just cannot ever guarantee it, can you? I mean, we've all been stung in the past, and those that have given him the armband, gutted for them. But I guess swings and roundabouts, at least this means that Cancelo should be starting for the foreseeable now. Tobes, do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, you would like to think so. I think Cancelo had started 10 in a row, I want to say, up until this point.
9 in 10 he was on. Yeah, 9 in 10 starts.
And then you and I had a little bicker on Twitter about whether he counts as a rotation risk. And I think the fact he's not playing today means that we can class him as a rotation risk, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, I would be very surprised if Cancelo, after this game, doesn't go on a run of starts in the Premier League. I think he's been one of City's best players this year. He's been integral to a lot of the good attacking play that City have done, and I think Pep rates him like super highly. So yeah, to me this feels like a rest and nothing more.
Yeah, for me, still integral in their attacking lineup. We won't see the fullbacks today for City take up the same positions Cancelo's been taking up, which is edge of the box stuff.
I don't think Walker's anywhere near the footballer that Cancelo is. He hasn't got the ability to play that kind of almost like 8-10 role. Like Walker stick to the wing, try and cross balls in. He just hasn't got the same kind of level of football nous as Cancelo.
So guys watching, just so you know, we're going to be doing all 3 games today. There are 3 of us. I'm going to have eyes on West Brom Fulham for my boy Lookman. We're all going to have eyes on City, of course, but Tobes is mainly on City versus Sheffield United. I know loads of you are really interested in that one. And then Banger, you're going to be eyes on City, but also at Sellers Park doing Palace Wolves. The big news there is Mitchell is benched, and many of us might be relying on Mitchell this week with Stones and Cancelo out. Any other big team news for Palace Wolves?
I think all eyes will be on Willian Jose today. I think he's scored 117 goals in 300 and something odd games.
Is he starting today?
Yeah,
I think that's must be his debut, or certainly his first Premier League start. So yeah, could be what they've been missing, right?
Absolutely. I think obviously called Fabio Silva, young lad. Was it Silva they signed?
Yeah.
Some young lad, looks all right, but with Jimenez out for a while, I think they needed that bit of experience coming in, and I think Wolves will do it today. Looking at the Palace lineup as well, Mitchell, I'm devastated he's out as well for me.
Yeah, because it's not a bad fixture to be relying on Mitchell, because it's like, okay, well, Wolves don't score that many, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. For Fulham in my game, Mitrovic starts today, which is quite rare for Fulham, and Mitrovic started a lot of games in the Championship, and I just wonder if Scott Parker has gone, look, today we're playing a Championship team in West Brom. We probably did well against them last year. Mitrovic, the big number 9. Let's have a focal point. I'm quite excited as a Lookman owner for him to have someone to play off, because otherwise it's just Lookman and Cavallero just chasing shadows and Bobby Reed a lot of the time. So I'm interested in that. And at City, Tobes, the big news for Sheffield United is FPL favourites Burke and Brewster are up top.
Yeah, it's a funny one actually when you look at it. So Wilder has basically dropped all of his best players against United, which is amazing. Like Phil Jagielka got man of the match, bench. Brian scored the goal, benched for Bogle. Burke scored a goal, benched for Burke was benched previously against United, came on and scored. Burke gets a chance today and starts instead of McGoldrick, and Brewster getting a rare start as well in place of Billy Sharp. So yeah, it's a kind of a strange one for me. But Wilder's going to be approaching this game knowing it's going to be super, super tough. He probably will say anything other than a loss is a massive bonus. But yeah, we're about, I don't know what we're like in terms of timestamps. I'm 90 seconds into the game, 1 minute 30 in.
Oh, nice. I'm at exactly the same timestamp.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, but yeah, it's in terms of kind of overall team news, it's 4 changes for both teams. As you mentioned earlier, Stones, Rodri, Sterling, and Cancelo all drop out for Laporte, Fernandinho, Torres, and Walker. So yeah, I mean, I think City are going to be super short odds to win this game. A lot of eyes are going to be on Gundogan, who I've bought in this week. I know a lot of people have bought in, and I know a lot of people have capped in this week as well. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where he kind of plays positionally. Just looking at it now, he looks to be like pretty advanced. So yeah, early signs are pretty good for Gundogan owners.
Yeah, great. I've bought Gundogan in like you and like so many, but I've also captained him, so I'm a bit nervous because I try not to have my captain when I'm doing Scoutcast match days. I see it as unlucky. I have terrible memories twice this season of captaining Werner for blanks when doing Scoutcast match day. I think he got a return in one of them, but missed so many chances and hit woodwork and missed penalties and all sorts. So, yeah, I'm quite nervous about that. However, with DCL's blank, that softens the blow a little bit. Banger, have we kicked? We must be a couple of minutes in. What timestamp are you on? I've only just had kickoff at the Hawthorns. They're a bit late.
I'm on 3 minutes 5 seconds on Wolves, Alice.
3 minutes 5 to match if
Yeah.
you are interested. I expect most in the chat are going to be really interested on updates from Palace and from the Hawthorns, but probably not watching the game. So we will be letting you know every time there's a chance at Selhurst Park, every time there's a chance at the Hawthorns. But of course, all eyes are on Man City, Sheffield United. And Tobes, it looks like they're going to, with Burke and Brewster, they're the two fastest forwards in that squad, and bearing in mind there's a lot of forwards in that squad, it just shows it's going to be a low block and counter attack, right? For any chance they do have, it's going to be try and get City on the break.
Yeah, I think so. And to be frank, that's the only way that Sheffield United are going to get anything out of this game, right? They're not going to match City in terms of playing football. So yeah, he set up to play that way. He did it really well against United. Played a very similar system by the looks of it there. And yeah, they carried a threat against United.
Yeah.
United had all of the ball and a ton of chances, but didn't really cut Sheffield United open too often. And they'll be hoping, obviously, to do something very similar today. The game's kind of started off very similar to how it started off against United. City with all of the ball, haven't created any chances yet. But yeah, it's going to be City with all of the ball today.
Bernardo Silva with a foul throw. Until this season, I used to see about 10 foul throws every game week, and never would they be pulled. This season, they're getting pulled all the time. I quite like it.
Yeah, to be honest though, like it's just a rule that I'd bin. Like what? Nobody is gaining an advantage by having a foot off the floor.
You could just do that if you've been there. You could just be like, cricket style.
I just think let players really is it that big of an advantage? Like dropping the ball in front of you, just like get on with it. It's just such a pointless rule.
Love that. Banger, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, was it Wenger who was pushing for having kicking it in?
Yeah, it was Wenger.
On the kick-ins, yeah. I mean, that was...
It was Wenger, Banger. It was Wenger like 10, 15 years ago, and now Wenger sits on the panel of the whatever it is that create the new rules, which would be really interesting if he had an influence on that and still believed it'd be a good rule. It'd be like a corner, any throw in for the kind of in the opponent's half.
Or even you remember old five-a-side games where it was the underarm roll.
Yeah,
that would be a lobbing it through to Mbappe or whatever. That would be.
We've just watched in Sheffield United, and I'm looking at how they've got their in possession at the moment. We're just after 5 minutes. Tobes, we watched Sheffield United, Man United. What did they do right that they can maybe do again to cause City problems, or were United just terrible, or was Sheffield United really good?
Yeah, I mean United were poor. I think there's no getting around that. I think that second goal they conceded, the Burke goal, kind of summed up United's day. It was just horrible defending. Had like 2 or 3 opportunities to clear the ball and just kept like side footing it back to a Sheffield United player who themselves then kept side footing it with like flimsy little shots at goal. And yeah, the way the goal went in, it was, I know it wasn't an own goal, but massive deflection off Tuan Zebi. It kind of summed things up really. Sheffield United defended really well, and they were kind of clinical when they did attack, and that's exactly what they're going to have to do today. I think it's probably an obvious thing to say now. City are going to win the league, I think, by a long way this year. And I think they're head and shoulders above any other team. They're better than United. They're better than Liverpool. They're better than anyone. So yeah, I fully expect in 90 minutes, City are going to get enough good chances to be able to score enough goals against Sheffield United to get this done. Nuclear
Atoms in the chat. You are a friend of the show, Nuclear. Thank you for always joining us. He's brought in Rudiger, Cancelo, and DCL for a -8 and captain Cancelo. You're saying it can't get any worse. It doesn't look great, but I do think, Toby and I were talking about this. We talked about him on the FPL show Thursday night. Rudiger, 4.5 million, I think is a really wise buy. So fair play for getting on that one early. Banger. I've asked Tobes about United, Sheffield United. I'm going to ask you about Spurs versus Liverpool. Without Harry Kane, what does that do to Son? Loads would have captained Son this game week, but loads were put off because of Kane's absence.
No, I think that Mourinho will obviously take a different approach, but I think, I don't know if Son will start up top. Toby, you will be able to help me out with that one, or whether Bergwijn will start on the wing. But I think Son, Spurs got to Champions League final without Kane.
Yeah, fair point.
I think Son will be on. Well, I assume will be on penalties as well. So I think he's not and against the Brighton side, which aren't great.
I think it depends a bit, doesn't it? Like this year does feel a little bit different in terms of
City are on the attack here.
Okay.
They're in possession. Oh, okay. No, they're just knocking it around nicely.
Okay. Did something exciting happen? Have you got a notice?
Yeah, no, I think something exciting is about to, so I'll stay with you on this.
Okay, well, we've got Torres out here on the
Torres
right.
scored.
Yeah. Ooh, so Torres has got the ball in the box here, wriggles his way past two Sheffield United defenders, squares the ball. Jesus has scored. Yeah, Jesus goal, Torres assist. Torres did really, really well there. Possibly you could argue it's not great defending by Sheffield United. He's kind of got nowhere to go and somehow like wriggles his way past two defenders. Cuts the ball across to Jesus, who like puts it in from 3 yards. He can't miss.
I know what Banger's thinking. He tipped Jesus pre-match on WhatsApp. Go on, Banger.
Yeah, I took a punt on Jesus against Fulham a while back, as I'm sure you'll remember. Captained him and did nothing. So he's put me off any future endeavours now. But yeah, I did back him for this game, especially when Sterling was dropped.
I've got to say, you boys in particular aren't going to like this. It's horrible defending from Ampadu. He just, just throws a.
But it's Ampadu and one other. Is it Bogle as well?
Bogle doesn't cover himself in glory either. But
because I watched that thinking, I think Bogle's worse than Ampadu there. But it's a bit like, is it Dyer or is it Lloris? Whose fault?
It's poor defending from both of them. I think like if Graham Souness is watching this or Roy Keane, it would be one of those where they blow up and they're like, you've got to clean him out. You've got to, and he just like sticks a flimsy leg out at it and he doesn't do enough.
The problem is it's quick feet from Torres, and because it's in the area, you just know if you're Ampadu or Bogle, any contact and it's a pen. So I see the hesitation, but you're right. You still need to win the ball. And Jesus is pretty composed there because it's a tap in, but he does well to take a touch, eye out the keeper.
Yeah, he takes it well. I mean, it would have been one of those where if he didn't put that away, you'd be questioning him. And yeah, he's a funny one, isn't he, Jesus? Like on paper, with like Aguero hasn't played for months now, any real minutes, and this City team, especially at the moment, who are scoring so many goals, Jesus should be a massive shout, shouldn't he? He's the City number 9.
Yeah, but he's not starting. He's playing Sterling down the middle, isn't he?
That's what I mean. Like it's bonkers that Jesus hasn't kicked on and become this like 20-25 goal a season man in a team that scores so many goals, plays such attacking football. I really feel like City are going to be the team that invest. Like you can see Haaland going there, can't you? Like you can see a massive money move to get someone in to be the next Aguero.
Yeah. This is Jesus' chance, wasn't it? With Aguero being out for so long, Jesus has had a chance to step up and he just hasn't. So I think, in the summer we'll be seeing a Martinez, maybe Haaland, as you said, or...
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Like Jesus to me has just never really felt like a Man City player. Like he hasn't felt like he's quite got the quality to lead that line. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see Jesus kind of shipped out in the next 2 or 3 years and kind of playing at some mid-table team in the Premier League or abroad somewhere.
Yeah, it's a really weird one, and it's not just this time round with Aguero being out. Aguero's been out a lot in the last sort of 18 months, hasn't he? So he's had a lot of opportunity to come into that team and just done bugger all. But they definitely buy, because Aguero, again, I think he's out of contract in the summer. There's talk he'll be at Barcelona, joining up with his good old mate Messi. I could see him going Barca, but yeah, whoever buys Haaland wins, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Like whether that's PSG, Real Madrid, or City or Chelsea, they just absolutely win. Fulham are in it. Lookman with the ball through. Lookman assist it will be if he scores from it. Mitrovic squares it to, is that Bobby Reed on the right? 1-0 Fulham.
Ooh. But no Lookman assist.
Assist to the assist, annoyingly. I tell you what, playing with a number 9 in Mitrovic, because I can't remember the last time he started in the Premier League, he's just a focal point. He holds the ball up well. He chests it down, edge of the box, slides in right winger Bobby Reed, who's just got a nice sort of comfortable finish from the angle. And he's a really good finisher, Bobby Reed. I've always thought he's a good finisher, just not maybe the best footballer in the world.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'm as impressed with Fulham recently as I am unimpressed with West Brom. Like Fulham have been really good recently.
Yeah.
West Brom, despite Big Sam, I think arguably looked worse than they did when they had Bilic in charge.
Wait till you see that goal, Tobes. It is a really decent goal by Fulham. Just the build-up play. Like Lookman's on the halfway line. He pings a 40-yarder to Mitrovic, who chests it, turns, slots in Reed on the right, who just first time arrows it into the corner. It's a really, that'd be like, there's nothing wow factor about it, but everything about that move was very, very good.
Just a good. By the way, I haven't got the game up on my screen, so I'm just having to go by the very poetic description that you're giving.
Yeah, no worries. To be fair, I think because of Lookman being a differential at 1% owned, I'm watching Fulham West Brom as much as City. Really interested in that one.
I've got a potential observation, which this could be me misreading how they played last time out. Gundogan looks to me to be quite a lot deeper than he was in the previous game. City looked like they're 4-3-3. Yeah. Torres out on the right. It looks like Bilva is playing kind of centrally in that in the midfield three. You've then got Foden out on the left. Gundogan looks like he's playing deeper than he did against. I can't even remember who their last game was against. The 5-0 win. It's possibly slightly concerning if you're a Gundogan captainer. Might be a little bit too early to kind of, how fluid City are with their formation. But yeah, it looks to me like Gundogan is possibly a little bit deeper today, perhaps because of the inclusion of Jesus in the team.
Yeah,
I think Cancelo as well, maybe. Just wants to get that right side, maybe a bit of cover. I know Fernandinho's on as well, but...
That's a good point, Bam, because Cancelo obviously takes up the inside right positions, and he often goes into the KDB positions. But yeah, when I looked at the touch map the other day of Man City, as someone that was buying Gundogan, I noticed he was the second most advanced player. I think he was. Sterling was the most. He was more advanced than Foden, obviously more central than Foden. But obviously with Torres playing today, we know he likes to go high, probably higher than Mahrez. But Fernandinho is in there instead of Rodri. But yeah, the good thing about Gundogan is he'll be on a lot of set pieces and pens. So even if he is number 8, I guess we're looking at it thinking there's always going to be 4 in front of him.
We've got Van Aanholt down.
Oh!
Any Mitchell owners at the minute, he's holding his ankle.
And he'll still come on for more than 60 minutes if he does come on, so we'll get the clean sheet points.
If they hurry it up.
What time are you on, Bang? I guess you're... Oh, chance for Fulham. Good save. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, a.k.a. Anthony Joshua. Love him. He's... Fulham are absolutely bossing this, by the way. Absolutely bossing it. And West Brom look down. Loftus-Cheek does really well, gets a good shot away, comfortable save in the end, but really good play from Loftus-Cheek. Sorry, Banger, you were saying...
No, he's back on now. He was holding his ankle, then he went off holding his groin, but he's just had a sip of water and it's done the trick, and he's back on. So bad news for Mitchell owners still.
Oh, tell you what, there was a chance there for Bilva, a header back by Norwood to his goalkeeper that very nearly got intercepted by Bilva. It was a really risky one. He was about 20 yards. It's like a 20-yard header back to Ramsdale. And Bilva read it and got a little touch on it.
Gundogan if he knocks it down to Gundogan, he's got an open goal.
Yeah, I mean, he was on the stretch a little bit. It was, to be fair, I think it was about all he could have done. But yeah, City dominating. Like the ball's barely been in their defensive half the entire game.
I know we've said Gundogan's deep, and he has been deep, and then lots in the chat have noticed that too. But it was Gundogan there waiting for that square ball from Bilva, which is positive, Tobes.
Yeah. Interestingly, prior to that move, he'd gone all the way out to the left-hand side, and Foden had switched with him and come a little bit more centrally. But it's this Man City team. It's so fluid.
Yeah.
Which makes one of the reasons why they're so difficult to play against, right? You just every single player across that front three and even within the midfield three just moves around completely freely.
One player we probably can't underestimate because he's starting again today, and I know not many own him, but he's made this position his own on the left, and that's Phil Foden. When Sterling has been playing, he's been playing on the right or down the middle. Foden has absolutely got that left forward slot and made it his own. I'm just looking. He started the last 1, 2, 3... He started 5 of the last 6 in the Premier League. That's pretty good. That's as good as I can remember for Foden in the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, you got to say, haven't you? Like what a player! Every time you see him play, he just looks good, and it's the perfect team for someone like him to be playing in. I think, where he's going to be getting a lot of the ball high up the pitch, and you hope as an England fan, don't you? It's going to be a team built around the likes of him and Grealish and not Mason Mount.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Mason Mount's a midfielder, so.
Well, it's a different approach they seem to be taking now. Traditionally, especially Pep teams have been quick wingers, whereas Foden is similar to Grealish at Villa. Is not really the pacey wingers now. It's sort of the technique more he's focusing on a bit, and maybe that's a change we're going to see happening more and more now. Less of the Rashford / Sterlings on the wings. It might be a bit more more intelligent footballers as such.
Yeah, I like that
Yeah.
call, Banger, because he's gone with the explosiveness of just raw pace with Sterling and Rashford. But actually, if you want some ball players, both Foden and Grealish are still pretty quick, but they're better passers and they've got quick feet and now more likely to put those sort of assists in.
Where do you two stand on Gundogan like long term? Like personally, to me he feels like a placeholder for KDB.
Absolutely.
Like even though I know like De Bruyne, it's been very debatable this year as to whether De Bruyne has been worth the money, and you could possibly argue that he hasn't. Despite that, I still think he's one of, if not the best player in the Premier League, and is going to score loads and loads of points.
Gundogan free kick.
Well, yeah, just seen that come in. Really good ball in, cleared though by Sheffield United. But yeah, to me, it's all about having the funds available to go Gundogan to Kevin De Bruyne as soon as I possibly can.
Yeah, let's just hope KDB is back for the doubles when we think they'll come. City could have a double in 24. That might be too soon, but in 26 as well. Lookman, by the way, such quick feet on the halfway line, draws a foul. But yeah, you know when a player's doing really well because the director's constantly getting close-ups of him. And whilst I'm not watching Fulham West Brom properly, I'm just constantly seeing close-ups on Lookman, which is always good.
I've got to say, actually, that ball in by Gundogan, it was a really good chance for Fernandinho. He I don't want to say it was a free header, but he got up well and kind of just mistimed getting his head on it. But had he timed that well, it would have been an 8-yard out free header, essentially, and we'd have been looking at Gundogan assist points.
Good to know he's on those free kicks, Tobes, because we didn't know for sure he'd be taking them, did we? Oh, Fulham are in here. Lookman puts Reed in. Reed, 1-on-1 with the keeper. Post. Oh!
Unbelievable.
Titi's luck this season.
Hold on, I've got too excited there. It wasn't a Lookman assist.
Oh, God.
I think it was Ruben. Anyway, Bobby Reed down that right-hand flank again. Oh, Fulham are doing really well. I'd love to see Fulham stay up. Banger, do we want Fulham to stay up? What's your take?
Yes. I think a big fan of Scotty Parker. I think, Fulham at the start of the season looked dreadful. But now, as Toby said, in recent weeks now, they actually look really, really good.
What about Scotty Parker to Chelsea when Tuchel inevitably gets sacked in 6 months, and then Frank to Fulham?
No, Frank's nailed for the Palace job, and then he'll come back to Chelsea in 18 months when Tuchel gets sacked.
Why is he nailed for the Palace job?
It's just got Frank written all over it. Like, there's no way Roy's going to be there next year. He's out of contract. I think they've got 14 players out of contract, including the likes of Van Aanholt and Guaita. So there's going to be a massive revamp, I feel, at Palace. And Lampard will want a South East or London-based job because of sort of his home life and his wife's work and the kids and stuff. And yes, there's been talk of Lampard to Newcastle, but it's just tailor-made for him, isn't it? And he can have Ruben Loftus-Cheek on loan next season.
Jesus in here?
Flagged offside, but he wasn't on. He wasn't off.
Who got the assist, Tobes? Off the offside chance.
Fernandinho.
I think it would have been Fernandinho, yeah.
Collector's item.
Yeah.
Was he flagged offside there? Because it didn't look like
he was miles onside. On.
So they're not meant to put their flag up early. We've seen this, haven't we? Sean Macielis put her flag up too early. The move continued. Cancelo scored.
Yeah. Since when did she become Macielis? I only ever knew her as Sean Massey. She snuck a little wedding in there somewhere.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's been a while. I feel like I feel like a long time. Yeah. She's definitely the most famous assistant referee going, isn't she?
Yeah. Do you know who, again, he hasn't had an awful lot to do, but just every time I watch him play, looks so solid, to the point where I reckon in a couple of seasons we're going to be talking about him as being in the same bracket as Van Dijk. Diaz, he just looks unreal every time he plays. So good.
Yeah. Or maybe even not at this end of this couple of seasons, Tobes. I could see if City continue as they're going, by the end of the season, I think we'll be saying he's the best in the league, won't we?
Yeah, probably. There's also poor guy, Van Dijk, the type of injury he's had. You throughout history, you've seen footballers come back and they're not the same after that kind of an injury. It's such a bad injury. It causes, particularly, I know he's not a striker, but you see strikers that lose half a yard of pace after an injury like that. Yeah, you kind of fear for him. You hope he comes back and he's just as good as he was. But yeah, there's always that slight fear that it's going to have an impact.
With Van Dijk, he was quite quick as far as centre backs go.
Yeah,
so even if he does lose a bit of pace, I think he's that sort of guy who will come back, and I think he'll be.
He's probably one of the fastest centre-backs in the league, but I also think he does rely on that pace banger because, look, I'll probably get stick for this in the chat, but positionally, Van Dijk is nowhere near one of the best centre-backs in the league. Positionally, he's the best at heading, he's the best at tackling, he's the best at tracking back, he's got a great football brain, passing, amazing. But if you're just rating him on his positional play, from someone that watches a lot of Italian centre-backs, let me tell you, Van Dijk is levels behind the likes of a Chiellini or a Bonucci, absolutely worlds apart. But he relies on his pace to get him out of trouble, and it does.
Like Rio Ferdinand at times when he was at United, one of the best centre backs the Premier seen, but his pace got him out of trouble a lot of times. Same with Kyle Walker now, even.
You see. Kyle Walker's forged a career out of being out of position, of being so good at recovering.
Yeah. Guys, Fulham again. Robinson, the left wing, the American left wing back, it's Antoine Robinson, I think. He has a half volley, 8-9 yards out. It's heading for Lookman for a tap in, and the defender gets there. Really good block by Ajayi. If he doesn't make it, Lookman's got a 5-yard tap in. What a game this is. West Brom look dead and buried. If Fulham win this football match, that's huge for their chances of survival. But also, I know it's early, but West Brom are playing Fulham now, and I think they've got Sheffield United next. They lose those 2 games, and Big Sam could be out.
What are your thoughts, generally speaking, on continuing with Lookman for the foreseeable? So my view at the moment is that in terms of formation, it's feeling very much like you don't probably want to have you certainly don't want to be playing with 3 strikers at the moment, given that there aren't really any strikers that are performing consistently. There are tons of good price midfield options that are performing. Defensively, teams have solidified, I think, after what was a crazy start to the season. I think there's possibly a good argument to say that 4-5-1, 3-5-2 are probably the best 2 formations to be playing. And if that's true, then does your team, Jan, have enough room to have Lookman playing 90 minutes every week and starting every week, or would you be looking to change that?
I am looking to still play. Look, if I was on a wild card, I'd be going with 5 good midfielders. But yeah. I am happy with my team with 3 forwards. Let's still think, right? For me, 3 6 million forwards is still the way because that's where I'm at. And I haven't got the transfers to afford. But I'm still very happy with Antonio. I'm very happy with Bamford. I know some have moved him on. But then also, I think Watkins is a shout. Wilson's becoming a shout again. And Calvert-Lewin. So I still think 3 low-price forwards, which means you've got to have an enabler in the midfield. And Lookman is it. And he will only be on the bench unless he's playing a West Brom. Saying that, if I was on a wild card, I would much prefer Saka, Rafinha, Souček. Better shouts than Lookman.
City in here. Oh.
I'm not wasting a transfer on it.
Sorry, yeah, the ball just whipped in there. I think it was Kyle Walker that whipped it in. Jesus to nod it back across, but couldn't quite get on the end of it.
And it was Gundogan waiting for it, Tobes.
Yeah.
Oh, West Brom made a. I can't see who's gone off, but they've made a defensive transfer. Substitution 23 minutes in.
I think also, I'm pretty sure there was a yellow card in this game, and I've got absolutely no idea who it was for. The camera zoomed in on the referee brandishing it, but there was no graphic, and it didn't show you who it was for. I've just looked it up actually. I think it was Norwood for Sheffield United. So panic over for any Gundogan owners there.
Yeah, at the moment it looks like City. Yeah, I mean you can't see them losing this game or even drawing this game. You can't see them dropping points. It's just a question of how many, isn't it?
Yeah, you also can't see him even conceding a goal. They've been so untroubled so far, which is all the more frustrating as a Cancelo and Stones owner. Both sat on the bench, and this has got clean sheet written all over it. It's very, very frustrating. It's going to be all about getting Cancelo on this pitch ASAP so he can score another banger.
Magus Spitfire in the chat says, "Don't worry, it'll be a Pookie party next season." I don't think it will be. Norwich might come up, but Pookie isn't getting a look in. Check out who's their striker? I think they might have Hugo. Is it Hugo? I can't remember who they've got. Whoever they've got, he's starting games and scoring. Yeah, Pookie cannot get a look in. Manan reckons DCL definitely a keep for the next 3. Tobes, you've got DCL, but I guess he's a bit of a placeholder should Kane come back.
Yeah, so much like we're talking about Gundogan being a placeholder for KDB, DCL is a placeholder for Kane. He's obviously got a good fixture coming up next. His fixtures beyond that aren't actually that amazing. Having said that, DCL, if you look at his history all season, has been remarkably consistent. He's been great, as we all know. There's a lot of rumours floating around that Kane isn't as badly injured as Mourinho possibly first made us fear. You often see it with Mourinho, especially when he's on the back of a loss. He did it with Son. Like Mourinho always wants to play the victim in any game, after any game, and he'll come out and immediately just go, "Yeah, Kane's going to be out for 2 or 3 weeks," because he's bitter about the fact that he's lost and Spurs haven't played well. But also, like the injury, it wasn't like Kane didn't roll his ankle or get a hammy or anything like that. He just got 2 kind of whacks on both ankles, which, given that he's had problems with his ankles before, a lot of people would think, oh, that's going to be a problem and make him be out for longer. But actually what you see with that is often when you do ligament damage in your ankles, they kind of get a little bit more elastic over time. And they tend to be able to take a little bit more punishment. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Kane back. I don't think we'll see him back for the Brighton game, but I think there's a pretty good chance we could see him back for the Chelsea game.
Okay, interesting.
He'll probably rinse it with a few mind games, Mourinho. There's no point doing it for Brighton, is there? You might as well
that's
the big one.
Exactly that, Banger. Exactly that. He'll have one eye on the Chelsea game, and he'll want Tuchel to think Kane's not going to be playing and to prep a team for Spurs with no Kane, and then boom, Kane's on the team sheet. It's just that little tiny percentage edge that Mourinho spent his whole career kind of trying to gain, isn't it?
Guys, I'm going to come to you for an update in a minute, Banger. But in West Brom Fulham, I can't remember a Premier League manager making a tactical substitution after 24 minutes, and Big Sam has done it, and he's gone Darragh O'Shea, Irish defender, off, Karlan Grant forward on. His team are 1-0 down at the Hawthorns, but I can't remember them even being in the Fulham 18-yard box. And Fulham have had 3-4 good chances, perhaps not big chances, but good chances. Reed, Loftus-Cheek and Lookman are absolutely bossing it, and Greaser looks really good. Fulham are in again. It's Mitrovic to Lookman. 1-on-1 for Lookman. Through on goal. Shoot! Oh!
It's not Lookman.
Great save from Johnson.
Was it Lookman this time?
It was Lookman. So he gets the ball 40 yards from goal, and it's just a 1-on-1. Ajayi is tracking, but Lookman's quicker than him. And he's a bit hesitant. Turns the defender, who tracks back, and then he has a clean shot from 8 yards, and it's a really good save from the West Brom keeper, who's kept them in it. He's made a couple of great saves. He's a good keeper, Banger. He's a United boy, isn't he? The West Brom keeper.
Johnston, yeah, I think he was back in.
I think he was your academy.
United have had a good record, haven't they, of producing some decent keepers recently? Hendo.
Yeah, but everyone seems to be making clangers at the wrong times.
I can't believe that I've not had points from him. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but the corner comes in from Lookman. No, cleared from West Brom. Banger. Anything happening at Selhurst Park? Van Aanholt looking all right. Wolves' new boy looking useful.
It's sort of end to end, but without anything coming from it. Like it's been from the kickoff. It's been quick, competitive passing around. Both teams have been getting forward, but nothing resulted of it. Jordan Ayew had a shot over the bar 5 minutes ago, but Jordan Ayew went in. He got the ball, but he hit him with his studs up, but nothing seemed to happen from it. But no really clear-cut chances.
Yeah, and William Jose, I guess, hasn't had a sniff yet. Does he?
No, he's moving well though.
Yeah,
he's getting around the front three. Neto and
What's William Jose at price-wise? About 7?
I think he's. 7,
yeah, I think he might. I've not once looked, but I reckon he'll be a bit cheaper than that. I could see him at 6 or 6.5, but that's a complete guess.
Interesting. I've got a feeling he's 7. I remember seeing it get tweeted, and I remember thinking it was quite a lot. Yeah, quite a lot of money for somebody like that who.
Yeah, he's 7.
Yeah,
Fabio Silva's 5.2.
Yeah, it's bizarre. They spent about 40 million on Fabio Silva as well, didn't they? He wasn't cheap. Yeah, interesting. They've struggled, haven't they? To, as you would expect, like Jimenez, losing Raul Jimenez has kind of killed them a little bit this season. They've really not been the same team at all.
No.
Yeah. Finlay asking, do we think Pep will bring on Cancelo on? It depends where he's at. I mean, let us know in the chat. But if Cancelo comes on, it's not going to be until the sort of last 20 minutes, half an hour. So you're definitely not getting any clean sheet points from him. You'll be looking for bonus, and Stones won't come on.
I think, I know it's a very small sample size, but City aren't as good a team when Cancelo's not on the pitch.
Yeah.
Like to be fair, City have dominated the ball. They're 75% possession. They haven't actually created that many chances though. It's not like a backs to the wall job here where it's like wave after wave after wave. Sheffield United have done okay. They've been a lot more toothless than they were against United. They've created nothing themselves, but Yeah, City don't look like they're going to kind of win this 4-5-6-0 at the moment. It's looking kind of it's looking decent defensively from Sheffield United after some pretty poor individual defending for the goal.
Yeah. Ashbeck has gone Antonio DCL Barnes captain for Kane, Wilson and Souček in a -4. Interesting. You'll be gutted about Wilson's brace. We'll see how that goes.
Have we got a penalty? No, it's been waved away. Zaha went down in the box. Cody's fuming. He's dived.
Yellow.
But the VAR are looking at it.
What do you reckon, Banger? Should it?
I need to see the replay. I'm seeing it. Just replay on now. Zaha. That's a pen.
Yeah, you reckon it will be given?
Zaha does him. I think that's a. I see it from another angle. It's not been given.
No, is that a VAR not been given?
Not been given, and no booking it then either. For if they think he's dived, but he's left his leg out and he's gone over. It's yeah. One of those.
You can go.
He could have probably stayed on and gone round it, but no. I think I've seen him given.
And Manan is asking how William Jose is looking. Banger's just updated us on that. He's been quiet but moving well.
Yeah.
Go on, Banger.
No, yeah. Like I said, he's been moving around. He did a dummy in the box about a couple of minutes ago from Podence, who is blocked by Van Arnholt, but no, that's his only action really.
Are we whilst we're on Palace, are we? Do any of you two feel any kind of desire to be bringing in a Palace asset? The
fixtures are the best, aren't they?
Yeah, if you look at the difficulty ranking, Palace have, on paper, the best fixtures of any team over the next 5. If you look at it, they've got Newcastle, Leeds, Burnley, Brighton, Fulham. Tough one against Spurs, West Brom. So 6 of their next 7 are games where you would expect the likes of Zaha perhaps to pick up a few points. Is Zaha going to offer anything more than a Grealish or a Saka or a Souček or a Rafinha?
Like, whilst individual merit, you have to consider him, but when you look at the team he plays for, they are the worst attacking team. I think on XG, they are the worst attacking team in the league. To be worse than Newcastle off the back before today, and then Fulham are in. Mitrovic, squares it over the bar from Reed, all over them. But yeah, they're the worst attacking team in the league, so it just makes me think I can't go there. And Zaha's still 7 million odds, so I think Mitchell is the only viable Palace option. I mean, you could go for another defender or Guaita, but now Mitchell's been dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting graphic just popped up, which is, even though I'm watching the game, is surprising. Man City have only had 2 attempts in this entire first 35 minutes. Sheffield United have had 1. You'd expect City to be, going at 5, 6, 7 chances, wouldn't you, by the end of the first half? But I think that's kind of indicative of what we've seen, despite the fact that City are dominating the game. Sheffield United are doing okay defensively, and they're limiting City to certainly, just buzzing the ball around the midfield. They're not creating much. Gundogan, bar dinking a good ball into the box, hasn't really been in it from an attacking sense at the moment.
Speaking of stats, just looking at Fulham, West Brom, Fulham have had 7 shots, 3 of which were on target. West Brom, not a shot. So I haven't looked at the Fulham fixtures ahead of time, but I do think they turned a corner. They got the result against, was it Spurs? They were good against Chelsea. I'm sure they're going to win today. Surely, famous last words.
United game, they were good as well.
Yeah, they were great against United. I do think they've turned a corner. Scotty Parker was under a bit of pressure after a month or 2, but actually they look great, and they've got some good value assets. I think Reed and Lookman and Loftus-Cheek could all be worth perhaps a little differential around a double game week if they're playing twice, something like that. So keep your eyes on them. Banger, we are over half an hour in, and I've not asked you about your shirt. Talk to me. Where's that bad boy from? It's obviously bought off the back of Maradona's death, I'm guessing.
Well, they sort of coincided, because the company who made the original shirts, they brought out, I think it was 500 or 1,000 limited edition ones. This was just before he died, and I was considering it prior to his death, and then because it fell just on my birthday as well, just after that. And I was thinking, should I get one for myself for my birthday? And then it just they sort of just coincided really.
So it is a limited edition.
It's limited edition, yeah. I think I'm not. There was talk of them making a few more, but I'm not sure if they will. But yeah, they sold out obviously very quickly, and I think it was 500 they made or something. But yeah, very, very comfy. It's a beautiful, beautiful shirt. lucky enough to get hold of one.
Yeah, it is absolutely beautiful. Oh, Loftus-Cheek with a shot from range. Good save. Well, comfortable save from Johnson. Another shot from Fulham.
Loftus-Cheek still on loan, or is he there permanently?
Yeah, he's on loan. Do you remember he played the first game of the season for Chelsea against Brighton and was useless? He played number 10 in Frank's first game this season. He put Werner in for a pen, I think. Yeah, he's on loan, same as Barkley. It'll be interesting to see what happens with these guys in the summer, because Tuchel might want to bring them back, or he might, want to sell them. The likes of Tomori, Barkley, Loftus-Cheek, good English players that we want to probably see playing football.
I hope Barkley stays at Villa.
Yeah, he's tailor-made for him, isn't he?
Yeah, I think Grealish is better when Barkley's playing with him as well. I think it opens him up a bit more. And Villa have looked sensational this season, and hopefully he stay.
Yeah, I could see that move being permanent. I've always thought Barkley's.
I don't think he's Chelsea.
Not good enough for Chelsea, but good enough for a good team.
So if they finish above Chelsea, that'll be ironic, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Villa.
Ezo in the chat. Lookman, score I beg. Nice to know there's another Lookman owner out there. We're in the 1% there, mate. Fingers crossed. He's looked like, if you're not watching, he's looked really lively and he's missed a big chance, forced to save. Tobes, I've seen Zinchenko's had a foul throw.
Yeah, and
he spent as well.
Yeah, he spent like the next 45 seconds absolutely berating the referee. Like, I've obviously got it on mute, and you could, for a man who's not. Oh, go on.
No. Sorry, it's your game anyway. I'm just ahead. I think.
For a man who's obviously not a native English speaker, you could. There were quite a few swear words thrown in there, I think. But yeah, like general play again, like. I think Sheffield United really got in
That's
there.
what I just ordered. That was it.
Was that Ollie Burke? Our boy.
It was a last-ditch tackle. I'm not sure who did it. I think it might have been Diaz. It was either Diaz or Laporte with a good tackle at the end. But like Wilder will be happy with this. They're obviously not creating much, but they're really blunting City. City aren't creating much either. The longer Sheffield United stay in this game, then as we know, funny things can happen. If it stays at 1-0 with 10, 15, 20 minutes to go, Wilder will be thinking they can hang on.
Do we think we'd see Stones
down the right, cuts it across, or poor ball?
Do you think Stones could come on then if it's 1-0, 15 minutes to go, more than Cancelo?
I don't think so. I still think that Cancelo offers so much more from an attacking sense. I think Pep will want to get the game done. He'll know at 1-0 that the game is at risk. Sheffield United will probably get a chance at some point in the second half. So, I think Cancelo is the sort of person that will come on. He'll create some chances. Sterling as well, obviously, sat there waiting in the wings. There's probably a good chance you'll probably see Torres come off on 60 for Sterling.
He'll want Laporte getting 90 as well, I reckon, off the back of that injury.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think I think it would be a strange call to be pulling, unless he's got fitness issues. It'd be an odd call to take Laporte off. Diaz isn't going to go anywhere either. Yeah. So I think Cancelo's got.
Who else is on the bench, Types? I'm thinking of attacking subs. Mahrez will be on the bench, won't he? So it could be a Mahrez, Sterling, and Cancelo.
Yeah, there's not an awful lot from an attacking sense on there.
Doyle? Is Doyle there?
No, he's not. They've got somebody called Bernabe that I've never heard of before. Adrian Bernabe.
I don't think he's even on the FPL register.
No, I'm not sure it is. They've got a lot of defenders on there. They've got Mendy, they've got Cancelo, obviously. They've got Garcia, who's been linked with a big move away. John Stones. Zach Steffen, I don't know what position he plays.
He's the goalkeeper, isn't he?
He's the reserve American, keeper. Is he? He's American.
And then, and then Rodrigo. So really, looking at it, Sterling and Mahrez, arguably Cancelo, are the only kind of attacking subs you've got.
Interesting story on Eric Garcia. He is obviously rumoured to be going to Barca at the end of the season, when I think he might be out of contract. But he was desperate for a loan move, or even just to be released from City, and he offered to play for Barcelona for free between now and the end of the season. I've never known a professional footballer do that. And he's literally said to Barcelona, take me and I will play for free for you. Like, how amazing is that? I guess it's quite smart, because if he knows if he does well, he gets a good contract. Fulham are in as well. Lookman to Bobby Reed, and defender gets there.
Batshuayi has just blazed one over the bar from about a yard.
Doesn't sound like Batshuayi.
Yeah, I just see the replay of this. I don't know if
who's playing up front, Banger? Are you Batshuayi Zaha, is it?
Yeah, and Eze's on as well.
And Eze's on the left, yeah.
There should be goals in that. There really should.
Has he got a score banner?
It hit him on the chest quite hard, but it comes down and he just swings at it. I have no composure
Who
whatsoever.
puts him in? Is Wilf
I
involved?
think it was Ayew.
Okay.
I think, and he just swings it about. Yeah, it's out of the stadium.
We just had an interesting one here where City were kind of in down the right hand side, ball whipped in, and it's gone miles out of play, like behind the goal line, and then comes back into play, and Ramsdale like tips it over, and it doesn't get given. It gets given as a corner rather than a goal kick, which it should have been, and then Gundogan whips in the corner, and City almost scored from it. It would have been one of those where Sheffield United would have been absolutely livid.
Yeah, they weren't livid when the De Gea got pushed out the way the other day, were they? So they can.
Remember, Kilman is starting today for Wolves, and he's about 8% owned. Zaha is about 15% owned. So there's a bit of a swing there, should Palace score and Zaha be involved. But Kilman will be on a lot of benches, a bit like Mitchell. He'll be on a lot of benches, and he could be coming off that bench.
This has got the potential, isn't it? If like things kind of stay roughly as they are, it's got the potential to be an incredibly low-scoring game week.
Yeah. Probably not one where you want to be taking 4 and 8 point hits. It'll be one of those game weeks where if you've taken an 8 point hit going into it, it could be like, okay, you go from 30 to 22.
Yeah. Some of the net scores are going to be pretty hideous. My current net score is 0 with my captain already played.
Gundogan on the free kick here, Tobes?
Yeah, City with a free kick out on the right-hand side. Gundogan and Foden standing over it. Could be one of those left footer for Foden to kind of whip it in. I always like a left footer on these more than a right, and the same on the other side. But it is Gundogan, pings it in. Good delivery again, but Sheffield United get it clear. It's kind of been summed up the half, really. City have not really created any clear-cut chances apart from the goal, and it's really just been little sort of half chances and getting balls into the box, which Sheffield United have coped with really well.
Do you like a left footer because it's an in-swing, or do you like a left footer on it because it's a left footer and they're better hitters of the ball? Because I like outswingers, but every manager's different. And some managers, with corners and free kicks, I always like an outswinger, but I know others always like an in-swinger. Go on.
I like the ones where like a left footer on the right-hand side whips it in, and it's one of those where if it misses everybody, it will nestle in the bottom corner. The keeper can't come for it because any touch on the ball, he's got to be where he is. And you often see them, don't you, where the keeper's like back forward, the ball just bounces, misses everyone and goes in the bottom corner.
Do you know what, the 2 biggest goals in my career as a football fan came from corners on the right-hand side from an outswinger. And one of them was, Juan Mata's right-footed, isn't he? Or is he left-footed?
Left.
Oh, Christ. Okay, one of them was an in-swinger. It was Juan Mata to Didier Drogba, near post, Bayern Munich, Champions League final. And the other one was Italy, a Pirlo outswinger, World Cup final, Berlin, 1-0 down against France, Materazzi rising above the rest on an outswinging corner for a headed goal. 2 wonderful set pieces. But yeah, one was an in-swinger, damn. A good question, actually. I'll give you a bit of time to think about it. Best goal from as a fan you've both witnessed. Tobes, I know it'll be struggle for you as a Spurs fan. There's no cup finals or...
Do you mean one that I've seen live, or can it be on television?
No, one that you have just celebrated a goal. So whether it could be from a stadium or from watching, but one that it lives long in the memory. It doesn't have to be a worldie. It could be the significance of the goal, or because it was a worldie.
Well, I think like the really obvious one is the Lucas Moura against Ajax in the Champions League semi-final. And a funny story about that, because I was sat in a hot tub in Costa Rica, watching it on my phone. And I was there with my girlfriend, and I was so miserable and sour, like ruining the holiday for her. We'd spent loads of money on this really nice holiday. Sat in a hot tub watching it, and we went like 2-0 down, and I was there, and I was so miserable. And Emily was like, "You're going to be so miserable now the rest of the holiday, aren't you?" And then like we scored one, and I had it like on my phone, and I was on a massive delay, and it was in like the 97th minute or whatever it was. And all of a sudden, before I knew the goal had happened, my phone was blowing up with like messages, WhatsApps coming, and I was like, "Oh my god, something's happened!" And I just like freaked out. Like I kind of, it was all a bit of a blur because I don't really remember what I did or how it happened. But yeah, just unbelievable.
Abshikek says Moura hat-trick versus Ajax for sure. Bale against Liverpool is up there, says Harry. Banger, as a United fan, or maybe it'll be an England memory, what's yours?
I think most recently England. I think that Trippier goal, Croatia, was my last breakdown, I think. And then it all went downhill after that.
Oh, tell you what, David Manuel in the chat, he's got a good one. And all he's put is Aguero.
Aguero.
As a City fan, that one's hard to top. Do you know one thing? It's not necessarily an individual goal, but an individual performance that I still put down as the best individual performance I've ever seen.
Bale against Inter.
Bale against Inter was absolutely unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it to this day.
He retired Maicon, didn't he?
Yeah, he really did, and he was still young at that point, and just sort of like burst onto the scene. And to score a hat trick. Yeah, we lost that game in the San Siro. I think it was 4-3, wasn't it? We went 4-0 down. I think by half time and 10 men down. I think someone got sent off. And Bale's second half hat trick followed by a win at home he was just unbelievable.
Yeah,
I love that I could talk best goals for all of half time, and I'm tempted to, but I know that so many jump on and watch for the half time. So we should probably turn our attention to FPL for 10 minutes. And in terms of topical stuff, we're halfway through the season. Many of us have still got our wild card, some of our chips. We don't know anything about blanks and doubles yet, but it's been heavily predicted that there'll be a big double in game week 26 and there'll be a big blank in game week 29. But there's so many fixture postponements. There's going to be, as a Juve fan, that's got my eye. Tevez penalty against Real Madrid to get to the final. Love that.
Focus on FPL, Batici. Come on.
So if we're looking at chip usage and we think there's going to be the big double and the blank, that'll be a time when lots of us can use bench boost and free hits. But there's going to be so many other little double game weeks with those fixture postponements. Tobes, what chips have you got left? And do you know roughly what you're thinking? Obviously, all subject to change.
I think I do know what I'm doing, obviously with a big caveat that it probably will all change. So I've got my second wild card, I've got my triple captain, and I've got my bench boost. I don't have my free hit. My current plan is to build a pretty good team for game week 26 that's going to probably be quite a big double game week. We still don't know exactly what those doubles are going to be, so that makes building for that quite difficult. But if you check out Ben Crellin's spreadsheet, he's kind of marked up how likely certain things are to happen, because it obviously depends on results. My plan is to build, try and get 15 players that will be playing twice in game week 26. Then my plan is to probably dead end my team into the blank for 29. So I'll probably need to take maybe 2 or 3 hits to get a team of
5
11
or 6
out for the blank. Yeah. Which I won't really care. I won't have to look beyond that because I've got my second wild card, and then it'll be a case of wild carding in game week 30 for the remaining 8 games. So that will allow me to have a good team for blank 29 without having to worry about how much damage I'm doing to my team beyond that. I can just dead end my team into 29, wild card in 30. That to me seems like the smartest way of doing it. Like you could possibly wild card out of the double in 26, but then when you've got a massive blank game week coming up 2 weeks later, that's going to be a really difficult wild card to play. So I think that's my plan. And then I think in terms of triple captain, it will just be waiting for a good double game week to crop up, which it inevitably will based on COVID and postponements. So it'll be the when we see a big premium team, a big premium player in a big premium team with 2 good fixtures, plonk the triple captain on them.
I'm similar to you, Tobes. I've got a free hit instead of triple captain, but I'll be using it in the same as you, probably on a smaller double. If I can. I don't really want to use a free hit if it's on a rubbish small blank game week, because I don't think there'll be a high ceiling in that game week, a bit like there wasn't in game week 18, which is why I didn't use it then. Banger, a lot will go against what Tobe said, although that's where I'm at, and a lot are talking about wildcarding in 25 ahead of a bench boost in 26, where there's this big double game week, we think. But we don't know what teams are in that double, and we might not need to wildcard in 25 because we might already have 11 or 12 players playing twice if it's a really big double game week and it's doubles for the likes of City or Liverpool or Villa, teams that we've already got lots of players for. What are you thinking, and what chips have you got left? Am I right in thinking you've got all your chips?
I've used free hit. I used it in 18 regrettably because I didn't do that well from it, but I did do better than I would have done without it. So that's a positive or not, but I think at the moment with so many big players out, Kane, De Bruyne, there's a lot. I've got 6 million in my account at the minute,
Yeah.
So whether that's a good time to use a bench boost when you've got the funds, to perhaps bring in, you've got maybe some Liverpool, Robertson, whoever, and to push it about the squad for an earlier bench boost, and some might be.
What would you consider it on a single game week? Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe because my last week's game, my bench was projected to get higher than it would have done in the double game week. And I think with Kane, De Bruyne out, everyone's got a bit more money to spend.
Yeah.
If you get the right fixtures, that you might have a chance to capitalise on that. But yeah.
It's a good point with the money. It's a good point with the money in the bank though, Bam, because I think a lot of us have downgraded either or both a KDB or a Kane in recent weeks. And if we're doing that, then I've got 6.5 in the bank. I think I've seen people with 8 and 10. And if you're doing that, then you can upgrade your third sub or your second goalkeeper quite comfortably and go for a big name. The problem is with bench boost, it's quite nice to get it out the way because you are then left after it with a really strong squad and probably 2 goalkeepers.
I massively agree with that. I hate the bench boost. I think the bench boost is the most inconvenient, stressful chip. And I really wanted to use it earlier in the season when we had the double game week, but because of the cancellations and postponements, couldn't do that like a lot of managers. And it's annoying me that I've still got it. It's the most inconvenient chip to use, like you say, because you end up building a team that then is almost too strong and too spread. Like my strategy generally is that focusing as much of your budget on your starters obviously is a good thing. Having enablers that sit in your bench that are going to play is obviously a bonus, but you end up having your funds I think spread a little bit too thin, and it's difficult to kind of change that unless you've then got the ability to wildcard out of it. So bench boost stresses me out.
I think this season we probably nothing to back this up, but it seems that substitutes have been more crucial this season, than obviously due to COVID and whatnot, more crucial. Whereas before, normally, like I said, we'd have bench fodder who'd get a few minutes, but now we're having a few players. It's been handy because so many players are a bit more rested or got COVID. It might be useful having a bit of strength and depth. It won't hurt.
We're all going to be relying on bench this weekend, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think like a really basic kind of summary of that is I think this has been the hardest year of FPL since I've played the game properly. It's been the most difficult to predict. It's been the most difficult to plan for. It's been really tough. You've had to be really, really reactive this season. Like often, you spend time in the week, don't you, thinking about plans, and often if you're doing it right, you should probably have an idea of like your next 2 or 3 game weeks worth of plans. And I can't think of too many occasions this year where I've actually followed through with those like even 2 or 3 game week ahead plans, because inevitably every single week there's been like a major injury or a postponement or a suspension or something like that, which has just like wreaked havoc with your plans. Like that feels to be way more common this year.
Guys, we've still got a couple of minutes to go back to, for those that have just joined us, best goals we can remember, either from in a stadium or just in living memory for your team or your international team. And I want to read out a few from the chat that came in when we moved off the topic. So I'm scrolling through to try and get there, but let us know in the chat. I know the Aguero one popped up. That was great. Robin van Persie, late winner against City in my first season as a United fan, was one of my best moments I've ever witnessed. Love that. That was a beauty. There's been some good goals in that from United. I think back to the Fergie years, and there's a lot there.
One of my favourites in recent memory was the Harry Kane versus Arsenal ripping the mask off. And when Dele Alli just backheeled the ball, Kane from like a ridiculous angle cut in and boshed the ball into the top bin. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of mine. It's weird because there must be absolutely loads. My first memory of a spectacular goal was in '95, which makes me sound really, really old, but it's one of my first sort of big football memories. And you've probably all seen this clip. George Weah runs it from his own half for AC Milan, and it was the first time, maybe even in that kind of era, where a player runs it from his own half and takes everyone on and then slots it home. And now we see that a little bit more. The likes of Messi and Son did it last season, but that George Weah goal lived on long in the memory, and for years everyone spoke about it. Wilshere versus Norwich has come in. Vardy versus
Liverpool, yeah.
Oh, Owen in the Manchester Derby 4-3 win. I think we were all together for that in Cheltenham, weren't we?
Varsity, I think it was. I was across the table for that goal. It was with Nick.
I actually think that Arsenal goal, the Wilshere goal, hard to say as a Spurs fan, but that is one of the most beautiful goals I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I'd second that. James McFadden goal for Scotland versus France. I remember that well. He fired it in from range. Mario Götze, that's the World Cup final goal. Van Persie versus Villa. Is that the Rooney ball over the top and the volley on the last day of the season?
First half hat-trick. He was my captain that week.
Oh, I love that. See, we're linking this to FPL as well.
Yeah.
It's the game. I don't know. I can't remember the context. The Zidane volley when the ball looped miles.
Champions League final, Leverkusen. I think it's
Leverkusen. Yeah, Hampden Park.
Actually, not to keep going on and on about Gareth Bale, but that overhead kick against Liverpool in the Champions League final.
That's just come up. Rashev in the chat. Gareth Bale, UEFA Champions League final, which was actually better than Zidane's. Yaya Toure versus Swansea. Johnny Haynes versus Celtic. James with Torres versus Barcelona. I remember that well. And Gary Neville was on commentary for that, for those watching English TV. And he got very excited for a United fan. He got a bit of stick for that, I think. A bit like Andy Gray for Sky got loads of stick when Gerrard scored. I can't remember who it was against. He went, "Yeah, beauty," and his Scottish accent. And he used to play for Everton. So, yeah.
It was against West Ham final, the FA Cup, was it?
Yeah, it might have been. Ibrahimovic versus England. That was the overhead kick. That retired Shawcross. That was his debut for England. I don't think he has ever played since. Tim Cahill versus the Netherlands. Robin van Persie diving header against the Netherlands.
Yeah, that was a worldie. He also scored a couple of ones, when came over his shoulder and he I think it's for United, left foot on the volley from about 20 yards from a massive rake-in diagonal from somebody.
Yeah, that was Rooney Villa. I think that was Villa.
Yeah, I think that was. Oh, Dele Alli versus Palace. That was nice. That was at Selhurst Park. Roberto Carlos versus Tenerife. Is that? I don't know that goal. Tenerife.
It might.
Is Tenerife an international football team? Or are they not just Spain?
No, they're a club team.
Yeah.
They're a club team.
Okay. Let us know, Miles Holder. The Roberto Carlos free kick against France for Brazil, the kind of banana free kick, that was amazing. Marcada versus Villa, Ronaldo Champions League final. Papis Cisse versus Chelsea. Richard Payne.
Yeah.
He had a good year that year.
I'm not having that goal though, because there is no chance he meant that. He was one of the most shinny footballers I've ever seen. He just used to throw legs at footballs, and that one in no way he meant to do that.
Roberto Carlos versus Tenerife. I've just seen it. Real Madrid versus Tenerife. He's scored a volley from almost where the corner flag is.
Oh, of course.
I remember the goal now, but wow.
I was thinking, not that I remember the goal, but Real Madrid versus Tenerife, the club team. Yeah. Okay. I was thinking Brazil versus another country.
What a goal.
I remember, do you remember the Ronaldo goal, the old Ronaldo from a Beckham? It was more about the pass than the goal. Beckham sprayed it about 50 yards into his path, and then Ronaldo finished it on the volley. It was just beautiful.
Beckham did two like that. I think Zidane was the other scorer when he first joined Madrid. Just a ridiculous pass from near the halfway line, curled it in.
The Galacticos era. Robin versus United, I remember that. I think that was from a corner.
Yeah.
Neves versus Derby, there's loads. Adam versus Chelsea, nice hair Gianni. Ollie Burke versus United. Ollie Burke versus United, that was on Wednesday night. We thought that was an OG, didn't we, Tobes?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I maintain that there was never a decent enough angle shown in that game to definitively say whether it was or wasn't an own goal. But I think in those situations, it's always nice to give it to the attacker.
Oh, Totti versus Sampdoria, love that. I can't remember that, but I'm guessing it was one of his legendary chips. Tim Cahill's come up quite a bit versus Netherlands. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
It was. I remember the Netherlands one.
Oh, Rashford free kick versus Chelsea. That was good.
Do you remember the Rooney goal against? I think it was against
Newcastle,
where he's berating the referee, and the ball just dropped, and he pinged it in the top corner on the volley.
I was quite a few beers down in that game, and quite a lot of beers. And they showed the replay, and I thought he'd done it again, and I started celebrating, thinking it was a second goal exactly like that.
Didn't Jules Breach famously do that with a Brighton goal? She thought she was live on air and she thought Glenn Murray had scored again, but it was a half-time replay.
Yeah, check that out on YouTube. She was on the BT Score sofa with that one. Guys, we've started up again at the Etihad. Don't think there's any substitutions.
Nope.
And guys, thank you for joining us for our half-time chat. We'll continue to do fun chats in our Scoutcast match days. You're obviously watching Scoutcast Match Day, brought to you by Fantasy Football Scout. Do like this video, please, guys. Also, comment, not just in the chat, but comment on the vid. Let us know what you think. And make sure you subscribe to the channel, please. And yeah, if you haven't checked out the members area for Fantasy Football Scout, if you're into your stats and stuff, that is absolutely the place for you. Give it a go. It's like 20 quid a year and there's a free trial.
Nearly a chance for Gundogan there. Bill with some really good play. Nicked the ball off Sheffield United player, kind of jinked in to the edge of the 18-yard box. Went to square it to Gundogan, who would have had a shot on goal, but the defender got back and cut it out. And yeah, City have a corner now. Gundogan to take it.
Gundogan, you're on free kicks. You're on corners. You've still not had a shot. He's come really close to like players putting him in who have been offside or overstretching, but he's not had a clear chance himself yet, has he? Yeah,
that's right. I mean, you've got to say City haven't. Nearly an own goal there. Oh no, it wasn't. It was a Diaz. It was a goal. That'd have been nice for FPL. Gundogan corner, Diaz with a half chance, you'd say. Just seeing the replay now. Outswinger from Gundogan. I'll tell you what, it's actually a good chance.
It's a good chance.
He's 6 yards out. He's got two defenders around him. He almost gets up a little bit too high and has to stoop for it. But yeah, that would have been a very pleasant one for a lot of FPL managers with Diaz and Gundogan.
Oh, West Brom sub. Robinson has come off, Callum Robinson, the forward, and a guy I don't know, Diang, has come on. I think he is the forward that...
Diangana?
No, it's not Diangana. I think it's a forward that West Brom may have bought in the transfer window from Turkey, I want to say. I'll try and check it out, but he's come on for West Brom, so he's gone Karlan Grant already subbed, and he's put on another forward. So two attacking subs from West Brom who didn't have a sniff. It could be a very different second half, which is not great for me as a Lookman owner, but Fulham have absolutely dominated. Haaland has missed a penalty, apparently. Interesting.
He is human.
Yeah, he's... Diang is the next signing from Galatasaray. Thank you, Ezo. It was from Turkey. I think he has a really good goal-scoring record. And a bit of business Sam Allardyce definitely needed. But
I think we might have a bit of action, Jan, in your game.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, I think we've got a goal. I'm not going to say who. Talk us through it.
Oh, good. Okay.
I think, it's possibly not gone the way you think it might as well.
Oh, balls.
Lookman and goal.
So, West Brom obviously made the attacking substitution. There's a free kick to West Brom on the halfway line. So
it's potentially a big Sam masterstroke, is it?
Oh, wow. Is it the sub from Galatasaray who's just come on?
Wow.
High line for this free kick. It's on the halfway line, but Fulham are really high. I've not seen it. Ball comes in. It's all going to be about the second and third header here. No, okay, Fulham clear it quite nicely, but Gallagher puts a cross in to the back stick, cleared by Fulham. Pereira's now on it, on the edge of the box, out wide. Goes out for a Fulham clearance again. 46:35 on the clock. Good pressure from West Brom. This is the most they've seen. But again, no chances. But they're in here down the left. Looks like Karlan Grant out wide. He won't want to be there. He'll want to be in the box. One of the few good finishers they've got in that team. Knocks it out to Pereira. Oh, it's 5 yards out. Tapping. Oh, wow. It's the centre-back. It's Gianni.
No, I think it's Kyle Bartley.
Oh, is it Carl Bartley? Okay, the other centre-back. If it's not Gianni, it's Bartley. For literally, just finds himself 6 yards out, unmarked. Cross comes in, and it's a good finish. But, wow, Fulham, what are they doing defensively there? Scott Parker will be absolutely devastated with that. Fulham haven't had a sniff. And yeah, it's the equaliser, 1-1 at the Hawthorns. Just looking at VAR, they are looking at it. No, he's on. It's fine. 1-1.
Goal given. Just another sort of half chance for City there. Zinchenko whipped a really good ball into the back post. Torres nodded. Oh, Gundogan nearly got in there as well. Ball nodded back across. Guess who was kind of waiting for it? Gundogan, but the ball didn't get to him. He's kind of been the nearly man today, Gundogan. Like you said earlier, hasn't had a clear-cut chance, but has kind of almost been on the end of 2 or 3.
And he's more attacking than perhaps he was in the first 20, Tobe. Since we said it, he's kind of been a little bit more advanced.
Oh, this doesn't look good actually for Foden. Foden's gone down. Oh, and actually he's got a whack in the face from Lundstrom. I think it was, it was unintentional. Like Lundstrom almost like chins him accidentally as they both go up for a header. But yeah, Foden down in a bit of a heap at the moment. But
If it's
one
only
of those,
a face, you think he'll be fine.
yeah, it's not like a muscular thing or anything like that. I think he'll be all right. Just seeing the replay of that one earlier, yeah, really good ball whipped in by Zinchenko, and then gets nodded back across by Torres. But yeah, Gundogan and Jesus can't quite get on the end of it.
Oh, okay. Scott Parker shot straight on him on the bench. He's livid. Like he cannot comprehend how his team are drawing this football match. Gutted for him. Foden's still down.
Just to go back, like it doesn't look good. Like he's kind of like normally with something like that, you expect him to be like sat up and getting a bit of treatment on his face to like stop any sort of bleeding. But he's absolutely like face on the floor, spread out, like hasn't really moved. Yeah, like
is it a neck thing, maybe, Tobes?
That's what I'm thinking. It looks like
I don't know. It looked like something to do with his face, but it was hard to kind of tell. But yeah,
slowly moving his neck. But I don't know.
Is it me or is he in the recovery position?
He is now in the recovery position, but he didn't look like one of those where he got like knocked out.
Lundstrom lost a tooth.
Yeah, possibly. Oh yeah, he's like Lundstrom's holding. I think maybe it was his teeth on Foden. Maybe he's got caught by a tooth.
Oh. West Brom, Fulham.
Oh, okay.
Another one.
God, I'm on such a delay, aren't I? I'm watching on BBC iPlayer. You'd think it'd be decent.
You would, yeah.
I've refreshed at half time and everything. I'm not going to look at the chat. If you have told us who scored in the chat, I'm not looking because I want to celebrate my Lookman goal, which inevitably isn't going to happen.
We've got just to set like Foden's now sat up, still looking a bit groggy, and Mahrez is doing quite a vigorous warm up on the sideline.
So he'll go off before 60 if he does go off, Tobes.
No, he's walking out fine.
Oh, okay. Fulham are on... No, sorry. I'll interrupt you when I think the goal or chance
Foden
comes.
seems right as rain now. He seems to...
Yeah, he's up and looks fine, to be fair. Yeah. I think Foden will probably carry on or fuss about nothing. Yeah, he's jogging and, yeah, he's fine.
Just wanted a rest, didn't he?
Yeah, brilliant.
I mean, that was like a sort of 3 minutes will need to be added for that. At least 3 minutes. And I bet there won't be. It's always sort of 50%. They'll add on a minute for that. Ball comes in from West Brom from the left. Clearance from Fulham. Loftus-Cheek has it comfortably. Are you sure there's been a goal?
Yeah.
Okay, stay with me then.
Updates have come up on both my TVs.
It's funny though because I've not got. I'm looking at it just on the commentary, and I can't see a goal in the game. Banger. Don't know what.
Wait,
I've had a score update on Palace and City game. They've both come up in the corner.
Wait. It's 1-1 though. I gave the West Brom goal 5 minutes ago.
That will be that.
Sorry, an absolute nightmare.
I didn't see that. Yeah, sorry. That's my Chris Kamara moment. I think
it's absolutely brilliant. Well,
has he, Jeff? Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, that was Kamara at Portsmouth, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As FPL Kitty says in the chat, West Brom are dominating now. But, I mean, yeah, for the last 5-10 minutes, you're right, they have been. Big Sam has given them an absolute rocket.
I was going to say, do we give a little bit of credit for the Big Sam substitution, change the game?
Yeah, because after 20 minutes, he took off a centre-back and went for a second striker. Yeah. And then at half-time, he took another striker off, put another striker on. So... Fair play. Kev Mack is loving that in the chat. Jesus Christ. Matt Henley with the lols. Love that.
I haven't even had a beer.
Do you know what's quite nice about that? For once, we were updating you guys for what we thought was a goal. So, usually we're waiting for the other way around. Although I am trying to ignore the chat, so we're still updating you for those that want it. Thank you all for joining us, by the way. Great to be chatting with you today. We're going to bring you team news on Arsenal United in about 15 minutes' time. Big one.
That could be a really good game.
One. Yeah. What's your prediction there, Banger, for Arsenal United? Are you confident as a United fan?
It's hard. I think it'll be a score draw. I think after the last Arsenal game, they turned up and...
I was going to say, you got beaten by Arsenal when they were terrible, didn't you? So now they're playing much, much better. It could kind of go on.
The record against Arsenal was decent prior to that. And it's weird because, we turned them over with, John O'Shea up front and stuff. But I think I'm expecting a few goals in this game. And I think United will want to bounce back to the field.
Good one.
Sorry. No, nothing's happened. Torres whips in a really, really good ball. You've got to say it's really good goalkeeping from Ramsdale.
Oh, we don't say that much.
Yeah, I know. Puts the ball like in that little corridor between the defender and between the attacker and the keeper. Ramsdale gets a bit lucky actually. He comes out, tries to claim it, and it just hits him and bounces kind of straight in front of him. And Jesus came flying in trying to get the touch, but didn't. And we're still at 1-0.
Tasty cross, isn't it, Tobes?
It was a really nice cross.
Torres.
I'm on 55 at the moment. If anybody wants a timestamp.
Yeah, I'm slightly behind.
I'm on 52, but kickoff was delayed in this game. For some reason.
I'm on 53, although I think I'm 2 minutes behind. So bang at Arsenal United. I've just sold Rashford. I always knew when I sold Rashford it was going to be a kind of big, will he just start performing because he's been rubbish for me in the 3 or 4 games I've had him. The plan was never a long-term buy. Would you have kept him? Is he dangerous or is he just looking out of sorts? Because I looked at the numbers last night on Rashford versus Lookman in the last 4 games, and Lookman's underlying stats are head and shoulders above Rashford's. So you didn't think you'd hear that, right? But he's been poor, isn't he?
He has been poor, but I think that's down to Solskjaer as well, playing him on the right.
Yeah.
I think when he's played on the left, he's shown exactly what he can do, and I don't know why Solskjaer changed it against Sheffield United. I'm hoping he'll go back to that today. Cavani up top, he's by far the best finisher. I like to see Rashford on the left and Greenwood on the right.
So that means you'd have Martial benched, would you?
100%. I think he's offered very little.
I think Tobes and I would probably agree with that.
Yeah, I think Rashford's got the ability to explode, whereas Martial, he's so casual through the game. Whereas Rashford, even though he can have a spell of, not playing that well, but he can turn it on.
I think one of the problems with Martial is as well, which shouldn't really be a factor, but I think is because he looks miserable all the time he's on the pitch. It's easier to then be annoyed with him for not looking like he's trying.
Yeah.
And he's always that kind of, he's always a bit moody, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%. But I think it's body language in general at times.
Yeah.
Not so much as, if a player's not smiling, supporting Roy Keane for all those years, you're not getting many smiles.
That's why
Roy Keane was still running around, wasn't he?
That's exactly
Martial,
that.
Fine,
effort.
throw your arms up as much as you want, mate, but I want to see you work hard for your... He doesn't run.
No. And Bruno wasn't, he showed glimpses of quality against Sheffield United, but he gave the ball away a lot. But every time he did, he was running back and getting it back.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference. You want to see, when you're not playing well, you need everyone to come together. And I think with United's fixtures, you've got Everton, I think, is it Southampton or Everton next, and then the next 2 games?
Southampton, yeah.
And then Everton after that. It's not tough games.
Yeah, that's why I sold. It was the fixtures, obviously the form too. Should we, Tobes, be looking at a sell for Bruno if he continues to blank? Sorry, Banger, go on.
I think that was William Jose. What a save by... It was William Jose, yeah, what a save. He was whipped in by, I want to say, Podence. And then, great save by, was it Guita?
Yeah.
Yeah, hits it on the half volley, bang, only a couple of yards out and corner.
That would have been some debut, scoring the winner in a Premier League
Great
match.
volley as well, that, to be fair. He's on the turn between 2 defenders. He got in there, yeah, he's moving.
He's a strong boy, isn't he?
He is, and he's getting in good positions. Terrible corner, waste of time. Palace on the break.
Tobes, Bruno 3 blanks in 4, yet a bit like Salah, who's blanked 6 in 6. No one's selling these guys. They're not dropping in value. Their ownership's not falling. Both Bruno and Salah, question to you, would we consider selling either, or are we just too scared because the ceiling's so high?
I think that I'm not likely to sell either of them. I think if I was going to sell one of them, it would be Salah, more likely than Bruno. I just feel like in terms of being a talisman, Bruno is more of a talisman for United than Salah is for Liverpool. I think, generally speaking, United play well only when Bruno tends to play well. Salah can have off days and Liverpool still smash teams, but it's rare that Bruno plays poorly and United win. United I think will offer enough in an attacking sense to warrant having Bruno in there. He's on penalties, obviously, of course, as well. Free kicks, has probably shown better form than Salah over the last 6, certainly. I think selling Bruno has got "I regret that" written all over it, basically.
Yeah. It's hard to bring them back as well, especially if you're sacking off people. You got rid of De Bruyne. If you sack off Salah as well, that's a lot of money you're manoeuvring to potentially bring them back if you spent the cash.
Yeah, you're right. You Jan, didn't you? You went without Salah for a few game weeks early on in the season and ended up regretting it quite heavily.
Yeah, massively. I had Sterling. I mean, I made sure I would never go without Salah and change my structure. If you go without Salah, you need to be able to get him back in one move. So I had Sterling instead, so it was okay. I knew I could always bring him back. But yeah, I went without him, and it cost me dear. I also missed his hat trick on the first day of the season where everyone else had him as captain. So, because he's a guy you captain, and so is Bruno, when you go without these guys, if they do bang, it's so much worse because so many have given them the armband. So I think I'm sitting on both of them.
Just a little half chance there for Sheffield United, actually. Ollie Burke did really well down the right-hand side. It reminds me a lot, actually, Ollie Burke, of Sissoko. Basically, like, brilliant in a straight line, strong, powerful, but basically pretty clueless in the final third. Cut the ball across and Bogle had a swipe at it and it went miles over. Also, substitute has just occurred and McGoldrick has come on. I didn't actually see who went off. Brewster, yeah. Brewster's been a funny one, isn't it? I kind of feel a bit sorry for him. Like, he's gone to... Oh, there's been a goal. There's been a goal at Palace.
Oh, bangs.
Oh.
Not yet.
I'll hand over to you, Bang. You can talk us through it.
What channel?
Currently, the camera's on Roy Hodgson. He's just wobbling around at the minute. Van Arnholt's got a throw in. And there's still nothing.
Just happening. Wobbling around.
He is. He's just...
Poor old Uncle Roy. His time's almost up.
Right.
Oh, as in for the Palace job. He's the oldest. I think he's the oldest manager in the league.
Oh yeah, by miles.
This is going to be a great goal because the passing from Palace. This is like Barcelona. And we've got Jordan Ayew, Eze, brilliant goal.
Who scored it?
Eze, yeah. Great, yeah. He did the dummy, took away the defender, left foot.
Good player, isn't he, Eze?
Yeah, on the edge of the area.
Who got the assist? Goal. Did you say Ayew, Bangs?
I think it was it Ayew or was it Clyde? I think it was Ayew.
Wow. Eze is 0.7% owned, and he's cheap. He's 5.8. It's just the Palace not scoring enough goals thing, but it's a nice differential because he's come up with a few goals.
How much did you say it was?
5.7.
Trouble is, at that price, you're going to go Gundogan, aren't you? Or you're going to go Saka. You're like players that are guaranteeing you
fantastic goal about that.
Goals.
He only scores good goals, doesn't he, Banger? Eze?
No, but the overall team goal is Jordan Ayew assist. He drops the shoulder. He sells. I think it's Cody down the river. He's gone one way. Eze's gone the other, and left foot bottom corner.
Would you say that's a fair result so far, Banks? It doesn't sound like Palace have done much.
No, I think both teams have. It's been a fairly even game. I wouldn't say it's. Both teams have had a couple of chances, and
it's another kind of grim FPL thing, though, isn't it? It's a Wolves clean sheet wipeout, and not that many Wolves.
Although 8% of Kilman.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that he's going to be the most probably highly owned one. Not many have probably got Kilman or
Patricio will have quite a few.
Maybe Patricio, but he's the only because Wolves' defence have been getting rotated, haven't they? Quite a lot. So
Cody's the only safe one. Well, Bolling's had a few.
It's weird, isn't it? Like looking at all the things that have happened so far. Obviously, all the City players getting benched. Like in the Fulham game, like Cordova Reed, no one's got him. No one's got Mitrovic who got the assist. There's no clean sheets anywhere. Nobody's got Newcastle defenders who did get a clean sheet. Really, like
Callum Diaz, isn't it? That's it.
Yeah. Diaz and Callum Wilson. And if you haven't got those two, you're basically looking at a pretty minging game week so far.
Yeah, you really are. Although there is half an hour left, and now we're on 61 minutes, Tobes. We should start seeing some subs in Sheffield United, Man City. I mean, Sheffield United have just made one, which you'd expect McGoldrick. But Pep at 1-0, I guess, might not want to change it. If it was 2 or 3-0, we'd see subs, or if it was 1-1, we'd see subs. But at 1-0, it's a hard scoreline to read what he's going to do.
It is, but I think Pep's really going to want their second goal because Sheffield United, kind of similar to United, they've done pretty well in this game. Like City, we know how good City are. Sheffield United have really, really limited them and played well, played like defensively. They're looking a little bit, certainly from a defensive point of view, they're looking a little bit like the Sheffield United of old that we saw last season. I wouldn't be surprised if Pep makes a kind of attacking change here in order to get the second goal. They get the second goal, it's game over.
Or Loftus-Cheek goes into the box and takes a big tumble, just goes to the ref, who's sort of given it the whole, no, I don't think so, but presumably VAR will look at it. No. I don't think that will be given at all. It's one where centre back's just doing that and kind of standoffish, and there's a little collision, but it's not a foul. And yeah, not given. But West Brom scored the goal, did quite well to score it, and it had a nice little 5-10 minutes. But again, back to being all Fulham, and it's almost like West Brom have scored, and they're gone. We'll take the point. But you can't be taking the point against Fulham when you're West Brom. This is a 6-pointer.
When Newcastle have won as well, you need to be.
Yeah. Who do you reckon, guys, for relegation? Who, if you can only name one team that's going to go down?
Well, I think you've got to say Sheffield United are nailed on. Like, if they get out of it, then fair play. It'd be unbelievable. I think West Brom would be my next favourite to go down. I think then it's a bit of a toss-up between a few. I think I mentioned it on the last Scoutcast. I don't think they will. I mean, obviously they're winning today as well. But my little outside shout to go down would be Palace. I don't think they will get relegated. But yeah, if I was putting money on it, I'd put it on them because I know I'd get good odds on it, and I think it could happen.
Yeah. I reckon if I was to name the one, it would be, I think, West Brom. I know Sheffield United...
There's been a bit of action in your game, Jan, as well. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, Fulham are on the attack. It's Lookman with it. Out wide, passes it to Loftus-Cheek. Edge of the box. I tell you what, there's some brilliant young English players. Lookman, Loftus-Cheek, I don't know if Bobby Reid represents England or might be Jamaica, but... I just like these guys. I think Scott Parker's done so well building an exciting team. And they're exciting players. Mitrovic is an exciting watch. The camera's on Mitrovic, who looks like he... Yeah, no, okay. Oh, it's West Brom with a goal kick. Maybe it's West Brom on the attack. I'm purposely not looking at the chat if there has been a goal. With 64-37 I'm on, so I appreciate those watching might have already seen the action. City just in on the right, but doesn't come to much. Back on the Fulham game, it's a throw-in at the halfway line. I'm on such a lag. But yeah, as I was saying, it's been a game which West Brom haven't had a sniff until the goal. If West Brom win this game, it will be a real smash and grab. And it's West Brom on the attack. Down the right with a new signing. Pulls it into Pereira. Wow, near post. Looks like it was Pereira, near post. Little stab at it from 8 yards. And the assist goes to the Diang, the new signing from Galatasaray. Pretty sure it was him on the right. Really well taken goal from Pereira. It's like, gets across his defender near stick. The cross comes in on the floor. Stabs his left foot at it. Maybe Areola should save it. I'm not sure. I've not seen the replay. But yeah, nice goal. 2-1.
I'm now furiously looking at Pereira and how much he costs and how much ownership he has on him, because he's been on fire, hasn't he, the last couple of game weeks?
He's scored 2 penalties. He's on set pieces. He's great at free kicks. I did say on the FPL show on Thursday, if he doesn't score from a set piece, he'll get points from set piece. He won't get points. Yeah. But he's just scored an open play, so fair play. It's a really, really good goal, actually. And yeah, you can't really question goalkeeper or centre back. He just does bloody well.
He's another one in that 5 million bracket. He's 5.6 million and he's 1% owned. He's like turning kind of into a legitimate shout, isn't he? Fixture-wise, after this, they play Sheffield United, then 2 tough ones, then Burnley, Brighton, Newcastle, Palace. Could be a good little punt.
Yeah, again, he's one that people, I think, a bit like I said earlier in the game with Fulham players, these are probably players in teams that we're going to look at, should they have a double or should they play in a blank? There'll be short-term punts around good fixtures. Why not? It's always fun, like you have a Pereira or a Lookman and they score, and you feel so much better than if your Salah or Bruno scores. When your differential bangs, there's no better feeling. And yeah, around the blanks and the doubles, should the fixtures fall their way, I think we can target some of these guys.
I think we saw someone famously captain Pereira, didn't we, during the double in the last one? He banged in about 25 points. Yeah,
and he got the 2 penalties in the same game, didn't he? Okay. We're gonna get some. Okay, no, team news is still going to be 4 minutes away for the official stuff. You guys have probably seen some Twitter rumours, so I'm not gonna come in with team news until we've got it. We're 3 minutes away.
Are we expecting any shocks in the lineup? Banger, as a United fan, are you expecting anything unusual in that team?
I'm just hoping he's got Cavani up top, Rashford on the left. I think with that you've got a better chance.
Is Tuanzebe going to get another go?
Hopefully Lindelof is back. I think Bailly's still out injured. And that was the other issue against Sheffield United. We've seen in recent weeks by that he's been looking solid, but he can't stay fit. And I think that, and Kieran Tierney as well, likewise for Arsenal. I think if he's back, Arsenal stand a much better chance because they look a different side when he's playing.
Am I right in thinking Arsenal have kept the most number of, maybe the joint most number of clean sheets this season with City?
No, I think Villa may be top of the clean sheet chart. I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm pretty sure Arsenal are second or joint second or something. Like Arsenal have defensively been much better than I think a lot of people give them credit for this year.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of rumours Mane's not going to feature for Liverpool, but I don't know if that's just usual Twitter for
Liverpool.
Liverpool game tomorrow.
Wow, you don't usually get that.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Oh, I think there may have been action for City. I'll bring you team news and you can interrupt me, Tobes, should there be action. It looks like Saka might be benched in terms of, if I go off the chat and I go off the rumours, Kev said Martinelli in for Saka. That would be big news. There's a lot of Saka owners out there.
Sorry, yeah, it was a chance for Zinchenko.
Okay, that was it. Sorry, that was it.
Yeah, so Foden cut the ball back. Kind of good sweeping move by City. Gundogan back heels it to Bilver. Bilver out to Foden. Foden cuts it back about 25 yards out. Smashes it. Looks like it's going in the top corner. And Ramsdale makes... It's a good save. It's not... It's like... It's one you'd expect him to make. But yeah, it is a good save. And yeah, good effort from Zinchenko.
Sorry, Tobes. That must have... When I said there's been something at City, I seen someone in the chat just go, Zinchenko! And I thought maybe he had scored, but obviously it was the chance. Corner, Gundogan looks like he's going to be on it. But no Saka would be a big loss.
It was a good chance. Laporte just had a good header from the Gundogan corner, which Ramsdale was tipped over. Would have been obviously a Gundogan assist. Good save by Ramsdale again. City starting to look a little bit more threatening, which they haven't really done in this second half. They haven't really created anything massive. Sheffield United have played well. Foden with the corner on the left-hand side here.
That's harsh on Gundogan owners, that he's got a couple of good corners and a couple of good headers. Yeah, I mean, I don't think as a Gundogan owner, I know I am, I know you two are, Jan with the captain, like I don't want to tempt, well, I do want to tempt fate because I'd like him to score, but he hasn't really looked that in the game.
No.
Like, I wouldn't feel like I'd been really unlucky with a Gundogan blank.
No less than any other City player though, right? Like none of them really have stood out in terms of all they've deserved to score.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus obviously took his goal well. Torres has probably arguably been their brightest spark up front. He's looked quite lively on the right-hand side there.
Did really well for the goal, didn't he? He made that.
Yeah, he did. Gundogan's just given over free kick rights to Foden there, who's banged one in, but it's missed everybody and gone out for a goal kick. 73 minutes gone.
I've never been impressed with Foden's delivery.
No, I mean, that wasn't a particularly good delivery there. It's just overcooked, missed everybody. In fact, like no City player was anywhere near it. Get Gundogan back on him, I say.
Oh, I've got team news for United. So we have 5 changes to the 11.
Oh, Rashford on the left.
Is it Rashford left? Okay, so we've got De Gea, Lindelof and Maguire will be the centre-back pairing. I can see Wan-Bissaka and Shaw are the full-backs. So that's your back 4. Pogba starts. Cavani starts. Rashford starts. Fred. So midfield will be Pogba and Fred. Bruno starts and McTominay. Wow, he's packing midfield, which means Pogba's going to be starting probably on the right forward slot. It'll be a 4-3-3. Martial on the bench.
Good.
Tuanzebe benched. Bailly makes the bench. Greenwood also benched. So bang, are we thinking that's 4-3-3? The midfield 3 being Bruno, Fred, McTominay.
Yeah.
Or 4-2-3-1. You could say Fred and McTominay sitting. Bruno number 10. Rashford left forward. Pogba right forward.
Yeah, best option I think.
Interestingly, Martin Odegaard makes the Arsenal bench.
Ah, does he?
Tierney's out, which is handy. So you've got Pogba versus Cedric, will it be?
Yeah, Cedric's playing at right back by the looks of it. David Luiz.
Bellerin, who'll be at left back. Will Cedric be at left back?
Bellerin at right back, Cedric at left back, David Luiz and Rob Holding centre backs.
Smith Rowe back in as well.
Okay, and so Noah Aubameyang, I guess, he's still. Arteta didn't confirm if he'd been away. I think his mum's been ill. Presumably she's in Gabon. I'm not sure. But there's potentially quarantine rules for him. So Smith Rowe starts. He was flagged, I think. So that's good for Smith Rowe owners. And just looking for Saka, there is no Saka in the squad, is there? He's not on the bench. So that's big for Saka owners. Again, this is a week we're going to be relying on bench.
Horrible game week, isn't it? Just a minging game week. Like, it's almost like everything that went right last week, all of those players that did so well, it's now gone full circle and they're either not playing at all or blanking or nightmare.
It's not a great Arsenal 11 when you think there's no Aubameyang, no Saka, Pepe starts, no Tierney. It's a really weak Arsenal team. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if Rashford gets any joy against Bellerin.
Interesting, Gabriel is on the bench as well. He early on in the season, he seemed to be like the best Arsenal centre back and
getting goals as well, wasn't he? From
surely he's a better shout than David Luiz.
Yeah, the only thinking there is this him just coming back and therefore he's not fully match fit. I don't know if he's played since his injury, but you're right. He was their main man, and surely, David Luiz isn't.
Still, just to go back to the City game, still, it looked like a couple of Sheffield United subs were getting stripped off, but we've seen absolutely no action from the Man City bench whatsoever.
So if you've got Cancelo and Stones, you really want one of them coming on because there's a chance you won't get 11 out. Like, for example, I've got Cancelo, Stones, but I've got Mitchell as well. Unless Mitchell comes on, I really need one of these guys to at least get 1 point. That'd be nice.
Yeah, it's not looking. I mean, I expect there will be. Foden nearly with a good ball across there. I expect there will be some subs, but it's quite unusual for Pep to have not made a sub by the 77th minute, right?
Yeah.
I tell you who will be making subs though, Wilder, because he has got loads of forwards on the bench, hasn't he?
Yeah. So there are two coming on now: Billy Sharp and McBurney coming on. Ollie Burke is off for one of them. I don't know who the other one coming off.
That means he's going with 3 forwards, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's going for it, which is probably good news if you're a Gundogan owner, because this you'd expect now City to open up. Yeah, it looks like he's taken, was it Basham, I think, has come off. So there's a really attacking substitution.
Oh, changing the system then. He's going 4 at the back.
Well, it's exactly a bit of action in your game again, Jan.
Okay.
No, we've had that.
Have we?
I think.
It's 2-1 West Brom.
Yeah, I just got the updates. 2-1.
Okay, it looks like there has been action.
Yeah, there is a goal.
Come back to me in a minute because I know there'll be. I'm not going to look at the chat, but I know there'll be a delay for me. What I would say about Sheffield United is they've taken Basham off, put forward on, so it's a 4-4 or 4-3-3. Wilder would have said to the boys at half time at 1-0 down, if you can keep it at 1-0, keep it tight. We'll have a go in the last 15, but keep it tight. Yeah. So I'm with you, Tobes. I reckon they're going to go for it, and there might be spaces for your Gundawans to come up with something. But until now, they've not really committed the numbers. There's not really been that space, is there?
No, but a bit of potentially good news for if you're a John Stones owner here. Laporte has just got a whack in the head, like a really big whack in the head, and has gone down.
Ooh.
And it's one of those where you feel like it could be a bit concussion-y. Like he got a real big whack. It was totally accidental. I think it was McBurney that went into him. But yeah, that's kind of holding his net. He's sitting up now.
Oh, ball in from Fulham. Back stick. Lookman. Is it Lookman? Diving header. Is it Lookman?
No,
it's
Cavallero.
No! Oh, he comes in from the left, which is where Lookman has been playing. Back stick, brilliant ball in from Aina, the former Chelsea player, the right back, whips it in. I think it bounces. It's a diving header at the back stick. Cavallero, who's done nothing all game, the one Fulham player that's looked kind of anonymous. Hang on, did he even start? Loftus-Cheek I've been talking about, Lookman I've been talking about, Mitrovic. It's a brilliant ball in. It's actually from Harrison Reed. The ball bounces. Hang on, did Lookman come off for Cavallero? He's literally in his position.
Yeah, let's have a look. Lookman's still on the pitch.
Cavallero came on for Reed literally 2 minutes ago and must have gone to the left-hand side, and Lookman would have come to Reed's position on the right. But it's 2-2. Brilliant game of football, West Brom. I think I've had the best game. I didn't think West Brom Fulham would have been the best game. El Fozzie's loving the Lookman faith. Thank you. I know. My differential, my 1% man, and he was brilliant first half. Missed a couple of chances. He does sometimes get me points. Always on my bench.
Is it worth having a little bonus points check?
Yeah.
I'm thinking this Man City game. It's going to be Jesus and Torres.
Maybe Diaz. Diaz has made quite a few clearances.
Yeah, quite possibly. I'm just looking at it now. So yeah, currently on for 3 is Jesus. On for 2, that's slightly unusual. You wouldn't expect that. Joint second is Fernandinho and Walker with Laporte on for 1. So Torres isn't even in the picture. Diaz is competing with Laporte as well on 25. It's all quite close, but yeah, if it stays like it is, it'll be Jesus on for 3 definitely, and quite debatable who's going to pick up 2 and 1.
Banger, I'll come to you for bonus points at Selhurst Park in a sec. First at West Brom Fulham, we've got, Pereira's on for 3, and Mitrovic is on for 2, got the assist, and then Bobby Reed on for 1. Could all be subject to change because they may not have updated since the goal. Banger, still 1-0 at Selhurst Park. Who got the goal? No.
Eze,
of course.
Eze got the goal. I
assist.
think they hit the bar. My stream went, but it's back now. But I haven't seen the replay yet. I think it might have been Ayew. So I think my missus is watching Netflix in the other room, so my stream went briefly. But Traore came on, oiled up, looking like Triple H before a Royal Rumble. He's been causing trouble down the left for Van Aanholt to deal with. But yeah. Bonus points wise, Eze's currently on 3, Van Aanholt on 2, and Dan on 1.
Dan on 1. Oh, Scott Dan, blast from the past. Scott Dan still getting minutes, still getting clean sheets. The guy that Paul Merson said was brilliant for him at Warsaw and had a chance of playing Premier League, eventually made it to the Premier League. I can't imagine Paul Merson as a football manager, but he was player manager at Warsaw, and then I don't think he managed after that.
I just can't think of a more like disaster-ridden appointment than getting Paul Merson in to manage a club.
My missus is watching Netflix in the other room, quote of the season. So I figured out why, for those that watch Scoutcast Matchday on Wednesday night, I figured out why my internet was so slow, and it was for the same reason. It was for other people on the stream, streaming stuff, and it just rinsed my internet. So when the football's on, we need to put signs up around the house. No substitutions, Tobes, for you. Was it Laporte that went down? Presumably he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. Still no substitutions, no sign of any either. Baldock for Sheffield United just picked up a yellow card for chopping down Foden. But I got to say, City haven't been very good in this game. If you coming into this, I was expecting it to be much like the last game, where it was just wave after wave after wave of City attack, but they really haven't been like that at all game. They've really had to work hard for this. They've not created much at all. I'd be interested to see the XG won't be that impressive for City. A lot of people will look at this and think, they got a battering and Sheffield United clung on and only conceded 1. But they didn't. And Sheffield United now, with a lot of attackers on the pitch, are actually coming forward with it here. Looks like it's come to nothing though, and City picked the ball up again. But it's not looking great for Gundogan at the moment, I've got to say.
A lot of I don't know if we put great header from a Fulham corner. It's Mitrovic. Bloody, guess who took the corner? My boy. Mitrovic, 8 yards out, heads it down. It's another good save from Johnson. He's a very good keeper. I think if West Brom go down, he'll stay in the Premier League. It's annoying. Fulham look like the team that will win this. There's 10 minutes left, 80 minutes gone. So you were saying about Man City not looking good. I guess that's no surprise. Without Stones, without Cancelo, without Sterling. It's Sterling and Cancelo, and obviously KDB, they rely on those players a lot, don't they?
Yeah, you could argue if the result stays like this, Pep will argue that he's got it absolutely bang on, right? He'll have come here, he'll have got 3 points, he'll have given Sterling 90 minutes rest, Cancelo 90 minutes rest, Stones gets a massive rest. But it's obviously a big if. At 1-0, anything could happen. John Egan's just picked up a yellow card there as well. Kind of Sheffield United, getting sort of increasingly foully as City are breaking, trying to kind of stop attacks. Still City haven't kind of carved them open. Last 10 minutes possession, Man City 92%.
Wow. And their XG Tobes, Kev's let us know in the chat, is at 1.06. So it's almost bang on, the 1 goal.
Yeah.
But that's low for City, isn't it? Really low.
Yeah, it is low.
Banger, who looks likely to score next, if anyone? Palace are quite good at protecting, in the years gone by, they've been good at protecting 1-0 leads.
Yeah, Wolves having all the possession, but again, there's not much happening from it. Fabio Silva came on for Moutinho to try and get that equaliser, but nothing as of yet seems to be happening.
Interesting that he brought on a forward and went 2 up front. He's still got William Jose on, has he?
He has, yep. And unless he went off into my stream cut briefly. But no, I think he is still on.
Looks
I
like
think 2 up top.
another attacking sub by Big Sam. He's taken on off Jake Livermore, DM, and put on wide attacker Matt Phillips. So he's really going for it with his substitutions. They just don't look like they're going to score. It's all Fulham. Still 2-2 at the Hawthorns. I'm on 82 minutes. Guys, if West Brom Fulham do score, don't tell me in advance. Just so because otherwise I just know they haven't scored. And this last 10 minutes could be exciting because Fulham are going for it.
Oh, Jesus. Fleck has just nearly equalised for Sheffield United. He smashed it from about 25 yards on the volley. And if that hasn't hit the post, it's taken a lick of paint off the post. Absolutely nothing as well. Ball left foot. Oh, it's so close. What great effort. That would have been like a proper smash and grab. Fleck has caught that flat. It could not have been closer to the post without hitting it. Unbelievable.
He went on a bit of a goal scoring run last season, Fleck, and didn't he score last week, or did he get the assist against United? Maybe
he got an assist.
Got the assist versus United. And the guy that won Fantasy 5, and for those that don't know it, Fantasy 5 is like a game you can play for free. You pick 5 players, they've got to hit their average. You can win £10,000, and the first ever winner came last week, and he had Fleck in his team.
Wow.
So fair play. You wouldn't, I play every week. I've never gone for a DM from Sheffield United. Well, number 8 from Sheffield United. So team news: Arsenal United's coming up at 5:30. For those that weren't with us 15 minutes ago, the big news there was Martial benched and Arsenal no Saka, no Aubameyang either. Predictions for that, having seen the team news. Banger, are you thinking it's going to be a United win there, knowing Arsenal were missing so many big names, no Tierney either?
I think, originally I said 2-2 maybe, but now looking at the squads, I'm 2-1, maybe even 2-0 United now, hopefully.
Yeah.
After that, I'm not sure. It depends what Pepe decides to do. You know what he's got in his locker when he can turn up occasionally, but you also know what he's like when he doesn't. So he could end up being a liability or could score a screamer.
Yeah, he's a bit like, I don't know, someone like a nanny. You just never know.
That, but yeah.
Tobes, what do you reckon? What's your prediction for Arsenal United?
I fancy Arsenal to get a point.
Okay.
I'm going to go with 1-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go. Annoyingly, I'm going to go 2-1 United with Rashford to score.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Sheffield United with another chance there. I'm not sure who it was, but it came to him 20 yards out.
City sub.
Oh, interesting.
Finally, in the 89th minute, I think I'm in at the moment. Oh, I'll tell you what, Sheffield United having a bit of a go here at the end. They've kind of had 2 or 3 little half chances and made Edison work there as well.
Please not John Stones. Oh, Rodri.
Oh, David Guy, Blackburn, boom. David, who are Blackburn? They don't play in the FPL. They don't play in the Premier League. Someone asked us in the chat earlier who our predictions are. Rodri looks like he's coming on for City. What our predictions are for teams getting promoted. I honestly couldn't give you any decent insight on who I think will come up from the Championship. I just don't follow it, other than giving you the team that's at the top at the moment. I love looking at the Championship at the end of the season, but until then, I just haven't got the brain space for it. I follow too much Italian football and Serie A and Premier League to look at it. So the only sub Pep's looking at is Rodri. That's a bit boring, isn't it, Tobes?
Yeah, and it's going to be coming in the 90th minute at the earliest.
This is the same Pep that was pushing for 5 subs.
Yeah, it's a strange one, to be honest with you. I'm not really too, because City haven't played particularly well. Sheffield United have been playing well. Certainly the last 10 minutes, they've had a couple of little chances. I would have thought Pep would have wanted to have recognised that they've not played well and change it a little bit, but yeah, they haven't. Sub just happening now, I think. Yeah, it's definitely Rodri coming on. You would assume it's probably going to be for maybe one of the front men, and he's just now going to try and keep what he's got.
Yeah, we'll take Foden or Torres off, won't he?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Torres. The camera's kind of on Torres at the moment. Who hasn't
Torres
realised.
is off. I don't know.
Yeah, so yeah, Torres is coming off. Who I think has been probably City's best attacker today. None of them, I think, have done particularly brilliantly. But yeah, this is Pep now saying we don't want to concede. We want to win this game 1-0.
Yeah, Mwesi makes the point that it's 1-0 up, the player's already rested. I see your point, but someone like Mahrez doesn't need a rest. Put Mahrez on, who can keep the ball, can add a goal, can add an assist. It is a strange one to wait 89 minutes in a Premier League game when players are playing and there's fixtures, 2 or 3 fixtures a week. It is quite rare to see. But I guess that 1-0 scoreline, he was just going, it's good it is, I don't want to unsettle anything. So for all your Gundogan captainers, for all your Cancelo captainers, I know most of you are going to have Son or Salah as your vice, so you're praying that the next 5 minutes he doesn't come on.
I mean, I don't think he will now. The only thing I can think is he'll do one of those like 94-minute subs just to waste the last 45 seconds, which I wouldn't put past him at all. We've got 5 additional minutes here as well, which obviously does give the opportunity for that to happen. And yeah, we're currently 90-40 at the moment. So yeah, it's about 4.5 minutes to go.
Kev's let us know that Palace have used all their 3 subs, and one of them isn't Mitchell. And we thought, Banger, didn't we? With Van Aanholt going down early, we might have a chance.
We did, and I'm a bit gutted, but at least he hasn't come on in the last few minutes, which I'll take my chances now with Dallas and Creswell, hopefully getting an assist or something. I'd rather that than getting a minute out of John Stones as well.
Just the official Sky graphic has just given Fernandinho man of the match, which probably tells you everything you need to know about how this game has gone.
Tobes, I'm not looking at the chat, but there's been drama at the Etihad.
Okay.
My eyes are off the chat completely, guys. Banger, don't spoil it. But there's been big drama. I'll come to you, Tobes.
Okay, so it's happened. It's a penalty. Shout. I don't think it is. Foden's whacked the ball at Bulldog.
Given.
I mean, didn't look like a penalty to me.
Who's going to take it? Gundogan, get in.
There's no chance that's a penalty if that's been given. It's never a penalty.
His arm is up. It's harsh.
Yeah, but it's there. I don't think you can give that as a penalty.
I think the handball rule is if your arm is out, then isn't it as if it's above the shoulder, then it's a pen.
But he turns like that, and like where I don't know. It's definitely been given.
Not given.
Yeah, no, I would have been shocked if that was given. I think that would have been really, really, really harsh.
Yeah, it's got to be. I think his arm has to be above his shoulder, and it wasn't, was it, Tobes? It was kind of.
No, it wasn't. And also the proximity from Foden, he was a half a yard away, if that. Like, I just don't. If we're given those, then the game's gone.
Loads in the chat. Well, we're split here. Loads have said it's not a pen. Loads are saying it's a blatant pen. What it is, guys. Earlier in the season, the handball rule changed. Game week 1 to 8 or whatever, that's a penalty and that gets given. We've seen a few of those in the Premier League early this season. Then they changed the handball rule, and since then, if your arm's up to a certain height, I can't remember if it's above your elbow or above shoulder, then it's a pen. Anything below that, and it's not. Which is why centre-backs have stopped going into challenges like that. They're all right about having their arms there.
I mean, I've got no horse in this race or City in here. Oh, what a save that is by Ramsdale.
No.
Wow, that is an incredible save. Jesus has slipped in there. I'm pretty sure it was by Foden. Yeah, it is Foden. Foden slips him in. He's onside. Jesus opens his body up, does everything right. Ramsdale, fingertip save, pushes it a yard round. It's an unbelievable save. It's a really, really great save. Still 1-0, 2 minutes and a half to go.
Come on, Gundogan. Obviously, I don't think it was a pen. Like, it wasn't. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, man of the match. Get in. But yeah, just knowing it would have been Gundogan to take it, it's like, oh, you want it. There's 2 minutes left at the Hawthorns. West Brom are in. No, leads to nothing. 3 minutes of added time. We're into the 91st minute. Still going for you, Banger, Selhurst Park. You've had a pretty dire game by the sounds of it.
Yeah, like the first half was quite decent, and even the start of the second half. But now it's just Palace have been in the Wolves half for a bit, but nothing's really come of it. It's terrible weather. Hodgson looks like my nan waiting for the vaccine. He's just he's not happy, even though he's 2 minutes away or 1 minute away now from the win. It's he's coming through now. No. Yeah, I think it's going to finish Palace 1-0.
I'm really going to struggle to find these clips, but there's been 3 today, Banger. Hodgson looking like my nan waiting for the vaccine.
Oh,
who was it that came on looking like Triple X?
Traore.
and then
up.
Neve on Netflix. You're going to have to go through and find them. They're all second half, weren't they?
Well, full time at Man City, finished 1-0.
Damn, 3 points for Gundogan.
Yeah, at least you got your clean sheet point. I didn't with DCL. I got absolutely Nada.
You've had enough captain points. You deserved it.
I can't believe I sold Wilson.
Oh, bangs, that hurts.
That's not good.
The good thing is most good managers don't own Wilson. So all the ones that are jumping in rank, sorry if you do, guys, but loads of the dead teams own Wilson.
I am relying very heavily on Dallas and Soufal to come off my bench and do miracles. I don't think it's going to... I'll tell you what, because I've got Cresswell as well. If West Ham keep a clean sheet against Liverpool, I'm laughing.
I mean, that's a big call.
Yeah. Are we, like, just quietly, Wolves are slipping down the table, aren't they? Like, nobody's business.
Full time at the Hawthorns 2-2.
Yeah, I don't know where are they? They're 14th in the league, and they're only Bright. Yeah, so they're 5 points ahead of Brighton, who are 17th. I don't think they're flirting with relegation yet, but they've also played 21 games, which is 2 more than Burnley, who are only a point behind them. It's a game more than Brighton. It's a game more than Fulham. Like, Wolves, if they're not careful, are going to get dragged in.
And we all know why, don't we? 2 words, Raul Jimenez.
Yeah.
Such a different, like, if ever there was a talisman for a club.
Yeah.
I think unlike the other teams, they've got the players, though, that can still...
Yeah.
I mean, they'll be...
famous last words, but they are too good to go down, in my opinion.
Just found the soundbite. I reckon we're about 1 hour, 40 minutes in when Banger dropped the Roy Hodgson Nan lookalike. So I'll be posting that on Twitter. Guys, do follow us all on Twitter. Obviously, you all follow Fantasy Football Scout, right? And that'll be, and I hope you do. And if you don't, set notifications to Scout, because every time we do a Scoutcast match day, they will tweet. Obviously, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Please do. But also, give Tobes a follow. Tobes, where are you at this season? Your overall rank's incredible, 30k-ish.
29k although I feel like that could be taking a bit of a hit this game week.
Yeah, I think it probably will, but still incredible. And Banger, you're having a good season. You're around a couple of 100k.
200, just 207k.
So get following on Twitter for tips from these two throughout game weeks. And don't listen to what I say, because I'm at 1.5 mil. Not a good season so far, but there's plenty of time left. And if you do your chip strategy right and get lucky with a few punts, it can all turn. So if you are struggling this season, keep positive for that. We're seeing a lot of benches this game, can't we, guys? Obviously, not many have got Martial, but a lot have got Saka, a lot had Stones, a lot had Cancelo. We might see a few with 10 men out. I'm only going to get 10 out this week because 3 of my defenders haven't played already. Mitchell benched.
Yeah, it's sort of a weird one. Like, it's crappy, but I know it's crappy for like everyone around me, so it's kind of not that bad. Like, everyone has got Stones in the top 50k. Most people have got Cancelo. Mitchell's on everybody's team. Calvert-Lewin's a big player this week. Not that many people in the top 10k have got Wilson, I wouldn't have thought. It's a weird one. It's just going to be a low-scoring game week. The average is going to be probably as low as we've seen this season, I think, unless we see fireworks out of Salah and Bruno and the likes of Grealish. But Antonio, you're not expecting big points from him this week. It's going to be a real interesting one.
Yeah, I'm with you there. So to confirm, we had Man City 1, Sheffield United 0. We had an Eze goal for Palace. Jesus, by the way, got the goal for City. Eze goal for Palace in a 1-0 win for Wolves. We had a Gundogan blank in the Man City game. We had no Cancelo, Stones or Sterling even coming off the bench. And then in the West Brom Fulham game, it was a great game, 2-2. No big points in terms of FPL from highly owned assets. Bartley got the goal for the second goal for West Brom. Lookman blank, Loftus-Cheek getting man of the match. Arsenal United's up at 5:30, but for now, guys, we will be back in game week 22 with another Scoutcast match day. We've had questions why Banger is called Banger. We don't have time for that today, but next time Banger is on, we'll be talking through why. So thank you, Banger, for joining us, and Tobes, thank you for your time. And we look forward to seeing you all again, hopefully, for the next game week, which will be... where are we? It's a weekend at the moment. I think there's a game midweek, is there?
I think it's...
Is it a Tuesday, Wednesday lineup?
It is.
Yeah.
Tuesday, 2nd, yeah.
Good stuff. So we'll be back for more next week. Thank you for watching, and we'll speak to you all soon. Good luck this game week.